Welcome. I'm your host, Dustin.
And I'm your co-host, Aaron.
And today we have special guests on the show. One is a returning and one is a new one, but it's the hosts of a Horror Haven LLC. We have Horror Gamer, who was on our show before, and actually your episode that you did is still in our top 5 most listened to episodes.
What?
So that's absolutely astonishing, and I'm so glad that I can share that with you. And
That's awesome.
we also have Gabby, who does the podcast with Horror Gamer. So if you guys want to go and just introduce and talk about what you guys do for a few minutes, go right ahead.
Well, Gabs, go ahead. I'm gonna let you do it. I'm gonna let you start. Go ahead.
Okay, put me on the spot then, friend. Okay.
What we do here.
We do kind of a little bit along the lines of what you guys do. We like to talk about horror movies. We like to talk about horror anything, really. We have a bit of a social media presence, not a huge one, but every week we just like to sit and talk to each other about horror, and we decided to start recording it, and there it is.
You just never know what's gonna happen.
That's literally all that you
argue
need.
a lot, but we love each other anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just saying, like Aaron and I started this just for the shits and just be like,
to
oh,
have
let's
fun
watch.
and get to find a way to stay in touch with each other throughout the pandemic, and still be able to hang out, and now it's just become a thing.
Yep, and
we both love doing
We
it.
actually met through the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, we live in the same state, but kind of on opposite corners.
oh, okay.
Horror Gamer was on Slasher and gave me his YouTube page, so I joined his Patreon, and that's how the movie club got started. And
Yep.
then when people kind of started fizzling out of that, it was
Awesome.
We still like to talk, so
Yeah,
put it
we're
on
like,
tape. Yeah.
like the last two standing. That's it.
Yeah.
And then there were two. And then
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's the two that talk the most. So
Hey,
Hey, it makes
there's
for good
nothing wrong with
conversation,
that
though.
at all. But
And then
I'm
we
so
have-
happy to have both you guys on here, because
Yeah.
this whole year we were trying to dedicate the show to just well-known movies, and also to just bring on not really like actors and directors and stuff like that, more like people in the community, just so we can all kind of thrive with each other and go do everything together and not feel so isolated, because I know there's a lot of people in this community that feel like they're struggling a little bit to kind of get started. I know you guys haven't been doing it for that long. You guys started in the summer, right, of last year? Is it the
it
summer?
was June. It was right
Yeah,
before
June.
my birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was June.
Your 1 year is coming up very soon too, and we started like in the spring, March of
March,
last year.
something, yeah.
And like I was saying, like the 20th of this month marks the first episode we ever recorded and uploaded, so that would be a 1 year anniversary. And my fiance, actually, the light that you guys see right here, she got that for our 1 year anniversary. It's just our nameplate on it, so that's really, really cool. So we get some more
We're
lights.
official
really
now.
Yeah, I gotta find another place to put it, but I have so much stuff in this room, it's ridiculous. But I don't think I said what movie we're doing today. We are covering The Exorcist, 1973.
Well, here's something funny too. Actually, when I told Courtney, I was like, "Oh, I'm watching The Exorcist, the podcast." She's like, "Oh, I thought you guys didn't do newer movies." I'm like, "It came out in
What?
'73." So
I mean, there has been a lot of Exorcist movies.
yeah. So maybe she was thinking of
Yeah, and
Conjuring or some shit, but
I think isn't it being turned into a series or something?
it wouldn't surprise me.
They're remaking it. They already did a series, and the series was terrible.
They did? Oh,
they're
okay. Maybe I'm
remaking
thinking of
it.
something else.
So how do you
Yeah,
make a
it's
series?
awful.
Like, is it just like one priest going around just doing exorcisms each day, or how do you make
I
a series?
honestly, I can't remember much about it. I watched maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and it
And
was
you're just like, this is
so
bad.
boring, and it was
Yeah.
it was bad. It was just I couldn't, and I don't think it lasted more than a season or 2.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's definitely one thing that sucks about like horror TV shows. Unless you're like
Unless you have like a good concept, like it,
Yeah.
it's harder to. I feel like horror TV shows are harder to like
Mm.
find success in than movies.
I mean, we have like the series from Mike Flanagan, you know, like Midnight Mass and stuff like that. House on Haunting Hill or whatever the hell it was that he did, and Blair Manor too, which are pretty good, but like for like shows that are on like actual TV, they never survive. It has to be drama. Drama, I feel like drama and crime are like the two shows that thrive the most on like
like crime shows,
actual TV. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
So-
Chucky show is pretty good from what I've seen so
Oh,
far.
dude, the Chucky show is great. If you guys haven't seen that, you need to watch.
It's
the
a
Chucky
nice
TV
modern take on it.
series. It's so good.
I've watched a couple episodes. Yeah, I do like the Chucky show.
And I like
heard
the
that's good for
like the
everyone.
whole like was LGBTQT like
Yeah.
references and like the fact that Chucky's like, oh, it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill them though, you know, because they don't like who you are.
Yeah.
But like you know, it's just like, but it's like he's a shitty person, like, you know, or
Yeah.
doll rather, but like, you know, like, but he's got like a reason behind it, you know, he's trying to help his
Yeah,
kid like
exactly.
get through bullying and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're all supporters of the LGBTQ plus, and that's one thing I really like about the horror community too. Is everybody usually is together.
everyone supports each other. And...
Yeah, and I hope that you guys are getting all the support on your end as well from all the horror community. I know that I brought you guys into the podcast F Entertainment. I think I shout you guys out and be like, hey, there's a a community that we're with, and like a lot of the people on there, I've either been on their shows or they've been on here. So I hope that it's working out for you guys as well.
Well, we
Yeah.
wanted to thank you for that because that was awesome that you did that for us.
Very
Mhm.
much.
It really helped. It did, and it is what it's fun to be a part of a community. You know what I'm saying? That like a year ago at this time, never would have thought. Never would have thought. You know
I
what
know.
I mean? Not a passing glance, nothing. You know. And then one night, Gabs and I stayed up and we talked about Rob Zombie for like 3 hours.
That
And
sounds
we were
familiar.
like, we should have recorded this. And then that's, how Horror Haven LLC was born. And it's just, it's each step of the way has just been great. And like the support we've been getting is just fantastic. And then with you helping us with that's just awesome, man. We do want to
Yeah,
thank
thank you guys so much. That's amazing.
No problem. Yeah, the man who runs it, Ian, he has 3 shows that he runs. Plus, he works like 2 jobs,
That's
and he
nuts.
God
streams.
bless him.
Like he
Yeah.
is
That's
such a workhorse, and he lives in Ireland too, so he's just like
Ooh.
everywhere all the time. But he's such an awesome dude. He's really, really nice. So if you guys can ever get the chance to just kind of like talk to him, I'm trying to get him on the show right now, but he's like so busy with like everything else and doing his podcast that getting the time to get him to come on here is crazy. But a little bit more before we jump into the movie. Another thing that you guys can do that I highly, highly suggest is the House That Screams podcast. If you guys really want to feel included, they are the best people, hands down.
Yeah, they were like super welcoming.
Candy, who runs that show, is really, really nice. I've been on the show twice. Aaron's been on it once, but they're amazing.
They're a rambunctious crew, but it's a good time.
Definitely have a lot of people on their schedule and stuff, but they're really, really good. So they're part of the community. So make sure you guys reach out to them, and Candy will go back. Yeah, I'm done. Or even her husband, Shaun of the Dead. He's really good. He's coming on later this month, I think, actually for our year anniversary.
hell yeah.
So that's gonna be awesome. So yeah, I'm just happy that you guys feel at home and welcome with that community, and thrive as much as you can. That's the whole
Appreciate
point of this.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Supporting each
Enjoy
other.
yourself.
But I think right now, unless you guys have any other things you want to add before we jump into the movie, right now is the time to do so. If you guys want to shout out any episodes you guys got going on, or where anybody can find you, or anything like that.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys, anybody can find us on slasher.tv/Horror Haven LLC. Hello, Damon. Slasher's it's the greatest place for horror fans. Are you guys on?
No, and I've actually been meaning to jump on there because I know you guys are always posting about it, but for some reason I
I'll
just
tell you,
keep
It
forgetting.
will make it harder for you to keep up with the rest of your social media because you will actually be in in a community that you're with all of your fellow fans. And I mean, everything that you can imagine they talk about, and it's so much fun, and there's no bullying, no judgment, no anything. It's just
You like
everybody's
that?
It's not
so
Reddit.
cool together. Yeah.
Reddit's so
Um,
tough.
You can find us on Instagram at Horror Haven LLC, Twitter at Horror LLC, and you can always email us directly at horrorhavenllc@gmail.com.
Right. Awesome. And Horror Gamer, if you want to plug your YouTube as well, go right ahead, man. Say what's going on over there and whatnot.
Guys,
Just
thank
go all
you.
around the table.
Well, you guys, your boy Horror Gamer has that YouTube channel where unfortunately I haven't been posting much because of a lot of stuff going on, but I'm still trying to get at least 1 or 2 videos out a week. It's a good place to come if you want to see movie reviews, if you want to see. I've been doing a lot of unboxings lately because I can't stop buying. I think I have like 4 or 5 unboxing videos already in 2022, and we're just in March.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
Gotta add to the collection.
my credit card hates me, but I just did a review recently on the new Texas Chainsaw on there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a video coming out in the next day or two of a subject that's very, very like important to me, and that's the toxic fandom that's going on lately about stuff.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a little discussion there, but yeah, guys, come on over. It's Horror Gamer at YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Just type in H0RR0R, and then when you spell gamer, you just put the 3 instead of the E, and I'm right there. So go check it out, guys. Get them subscribers going. Got a lot of good stuff for you guys.
Yeah, please go and support everything that they do. You guys are amazing. I love listening to your shows. I know you guys have been kind of taking a little bit of break just because of everything that's been going on, obviously personally and whatnot, and it's completely understandable.
Horror Gamer has had COVID for like a year and a half, I feel.
Always getting sick, man.
Me too. I'm fighting a cold. I just had a
months.
cold 2 weeks ago, and I'm already fighting another one.
Yeah, I'm still having
Dustin said your voice was gone. You sound good now, though.
Yeah, he's been drinking so much water since he's been here. We got some Liquid Death over here too. Their new severed lime sparkling stuff.
How is that?
It's really good. I know that we used to send out cases to everybody. Horror Gamer, you did like the unboxing and stuff, but we were sending it out to so many people. I had to stop doing it because I was wasting too much money. I really was. We were kind of gunning for a sponsor and stuff, but it just never really happened.
Just have to keep being persistent.
So if that does happen, hey, free cases for everybody. Maybe I'll get around to sending you guys another one, because I really do want everybody to try the new sparkling flavored waters because they're freaking amazing.
Lime is bomb.
It's so good.
That's cool.
But I think
I also like a sparkling water, but I mix mine with vodka. So
hey, they have recipes for that. If you go on their Instagram, people do it all the time. You can find so many drinks, especially with the new flavored ones. I'm sure you can make some really good combinations.
Oh, sure.
They got mango and berry too.
Yeah, mango and berry punch, I think is what it's called.
Ooh.
So
even just adding Mio to the regular one, I've heard was pretty good.
Yeah, to just the regular sparkling one.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it for any housekeeping stuff. So we can probably jump right into the movie. So you're doing The Exorcist, 1973. Since you guys
look at your face. Calm down.
Listen. This was Horror Gamer's first movie. Like, I'm ready. Like,
you literally licked your lips at this.
Oh, I got a lot to say. Trust me, I got a lot to say.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm going to let you guys open it up since you guys are our guests. So go right ahead.
Well, I mean, what can we say about The Exorcist that hasn't been said?
That's a good question.
Horror Gamer's first movie ever. I was 5 years old with my dad watching The Exorcist. It's like the Super Bowl of horror movies. But it's just all around, in my opinion, The Exorcist is just a perfect movie. It delivers on the scares. It delivers on the issue at hand at that time, which was religion. Mm-hmm. Really touched deep into the religion. The did I say the scares? I mean, come on. Like, there was certain parts of that movie that to this day, I can't watch it in the dark. And that's
Really?
just a little known fact. Like, when I watch The Exorcist, I have to either have watching it with somebody, or if I'm watching it alone, I have to watch it with the lights on. And I'm 37. You know, it hit me that hard as a kid that
That's how you know
I'm
it's a
too
good horror
excited.
movie.
Oh, oh
When it
God,
just haunts you
the
your whole
best.
life.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
exactly.
the best. And the thing is, I go back every year, and I torture myself with it, and I love every second of it. How about you, Gabs?
I agree with you. What else is there to say? I mean, this is by far the greatest horror movie of all time. I
Mhm.
think that probably at least 95% of horror fans will agree. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the granddaddy. This is the standard that everybody else tries to live up to. Um, you can't get a better horror drama. You can't get a better family drama, and you can't get a better religious horror. You can't. I mean, it is, as far as genre pushing, I mean, it just blowing out the genres. I mean, this movie is
Its own thing.
everything. It is
Mm.
everything. It's got everything that you would want, and it is absolutely terrifying. There is no other way to describe the way that you feel about this. There's not a ton of gore. There's not a lot of jump scares, but the way that this movie
way it
does
portrays itself.
dread, what's that?
The way it portrays itself and just like
The way
puts
that it
itself out
portrays
there.
itself, the sense of dread.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, no other movie, and there's been a lot of movies that really
I
kick up the dread that do a really good job of it. Nobody will ever match what The Exorcist did. That when you look back on it and you're not in the moment and you're just thinking about it. I don't want to say not a lot happens, because the entire movie is things happening.
Yeah. Right
But
from the beginning.
yeah, it's so much of it is just build up and tension, and your shoulders are up in your ears and your back is tight, and you know, it doesn't do what at the time, the Texas Chainsaw Massacres and the Halloweens and all of that in the 70s, and when the slasher genre was coming out, here comes The Exorcist that's like, nah, fuck off.
Yep.
You know, we're gonna actually scare you. And
Yeah.
it did
It
it.
is, it's
And
terrifying.
50 years later, we're still talking about nothing has topped it. Nothing.
I can
Greatest
agree.
horror movie of all time.
It definitely is. It holds its own for sure. And like one thing that I've been doing a lot recently with with so many like, releases of movies like this, the Blu-ray, this the 4K. I always go and look at older movies in like the highest resolution I possibly can to see if anything breaks. Like if effects break or anything like that. This movie holds up everything. The lighting holds up. The effects holds up. Everything.
It's just consistent all through.
It's like there's a lot of movies when you do that, a lot of it falls apart. Like, oh my god, that prop looked awful, or like the lighting in here is just awful. What movie were we were doing? We were doing Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Last episode.
The practical effects in that movie.
Yeah, like everything that like held up because a lot of it was used with shadows, and that's kind of like the same thing that this movie does too. It uses a lot of shadows and dark
And
backdrops
changes.
and stuff like that. So it definitely helps with things holding up and not falling apart so much. And I know this movie went through a lot of hell also. There's a really good series on Shudder called Cursed Films, and the first episode they did
Yes.
was on this one with all the shit that happened in the background, And I know
Yeah,
that
episode
William,
is so good.
it really really is. The whole series is amazing, but just like realizing what all the people on set were going through, especially like Linda Blair, how she fucking like almost like broke herself, or pretty much actually
She
did.
literally broke her back.
Yeah, and she had to get like the replacement in there, and just how nobody. Well, I mean, there were people on set that were trying to like take control, but William was just so like, this needs to get done. I don't care what happens. It needs to get done, and I don't care if you get hurt, just do it. Was his mentality, So it's kind of rough, but the finished product is amazing.
Like you almost want to say it's worth it, but
to this
for her,
day, she has never recovered from her back injury.
No.
She was pulled across the floor into the dresser. I don't think she broke her back, but her injury was permanent. And to this day, if you watch, she's not in a lot now, but if you see anything that she's in, you can see that she has a bit of a limp and she's stiff and she's kind of turned from that injury that she sustained during The Exorcist.
It sucks, and things like that do happen during filming, but this was during a time where I think the codes weren't as strict as they are now with like safety and everything, so anything could happen. Like nowadays, like you need someone there watching everything at all times.
You think of that shit that just happened with fucking what's his name, the guy from
Alec
30
Baldwin.
Rock, with the gun.
Yep. So like things like that,
you know, you need somebody to keep an eye on all that, all the little details like that.
Yeah, so it's crazy. So this movie definitely has its curses. People died on set. There's so much shit happened with this film outside of the film. But I love this film regardless. I watch it, I would say maybe like every year and a half, because I get that itch. Like I need to watch something that's scary and deals with religion, because I know this movie always delivers, no matter how many times I've watched it. But yeah, like there really isn't much more to say about this film other than going through what happens in the film.
But before we start going through the film,
sure.
The first time I saw this, I was 12, and I'm gonna be 40 this year, so it was a while ago.
Oh, okay, yeah, wow.
Yeah, and I saw the original version, obviously. And I never thought that anything could top the original Exorcist until they re-released it with the crab walk, the spider walk down the stairs.
Oh, yep.
There is nothing in this world that can compare to that visual.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That is one of the most terrifying things that I think anybody could ever see in their life.
Oh yeah, burn the house down immediately.
Oh yeah, fuck that. You're naked. Now you're not anymore. I'm out. Bye.
With her in it. Oh, see ya. Absolutely.
Another thing that I totally forgot happened. I don't know if it was like super popular over here, but our friend Dean the Dead, who's over in the UK, he saw this as a play.
Oh shit!
And he said that was the scariest fucking thing he's ever seen. Like scarier than the movie.
I would love to go to that, something like that.
So apparently there's a play of The Exorcist. I don't know if it really went around here, but he says he saw it like where he was in the UK, and he said it was like super scary. So I'm gonna see if maybe
I need that in my life. I need it.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm gonna see if like there's like videos like after. I meant to look up to see if there was any like people may have recorded something, depending on like how long ago this was, or maybe there was footage of it during it being active, of like the actual place filming it. That would be really, really cool. But can we bring that back? Because I want to witness that. I really, really do.
Thank you.
Let's just bring back theater altogether. What about a Halloween play, or nah, that might be a little weird, but like with certain movies though, it could be pulled off. I feel like it would be a whole new experience,
Oh, for sure. I mean, because obviously being there in person is like way different than watching something on your screen, and just seeing things happen in front of you. Like
like I said, it just adds to it.
Just imagine seeing that crab walk in real life.
Imagine the crucifix scene in real life.
Yeah. Fuck me! Fuck me! Oh man!
I'd be like, "Fuck this!" And be
I'm out.
Get red ribbons coming out.
Being in the front row and you get like puked on. That'll be awesome.
War comes out.
We need that. We definitely need that in our lives. So please, whoever made that play, either get it like reinstated or give it to somebody else to bring it over here, because I really want to see it.
Absolutely.
I really do. Watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys want to start off with the movie, or do you want us to go? It really doesn't matter.
You know what? You guys go ahead. And
You
we'll
sure?
jump in. Yeah, absolutely.
All
I
right.
got that.
Well, Aaron, I'll start, and then you can jump in, or we can just bounce back and forth and whatnot. But here we go into the actual movie. So we start off in northern Iraq, and see a bunch of people like digging, see like what the hell is going on over here, and it's like a lot of people. So you know that they're digging for something serious. So we get a lot of cuts of everybody just digging, and then there's a boy. Well, I think is a boy. I don't think he's a grown man. Looks like a boy who's running and goes to a group of people. It's like, hey, we found something. There's pieces of something that we found. So they go over there, and one of the, I guess, I don't know if we're really introduced to him now, but we see Father Marin, who's there, who's obviously looking for some sort of religious artifact or something. So he goes over to the spot where the boy brought them, and he reaches his hand in and pulls out a rock. See, like, I don't know what the hell this is. You're trying to make it out, and he brushes it off by taking like a little brush out of somebody's pocket. He breaks it off, and it's like a little like demon head. So you're like, oh, this is cool. So we know where this is going already. You know, demons and shit and Exorcist. And he's just kind of going around town. We find out that he has to take these pills, which I'm still confused why he's taking these pills.
Maybe it's for his tremors or something like that, because he was kind of like shaky when he was taking it.
But do you guys know what the hell those pills were for? Because I'm still trying to figure
PTSD.
out, is it tremors? Does he have maybe like a heart condition?
They were nitroglycerin pills.
Oh,
They're
really?
for his heart.
All right, that's what I thought.
Oh yeah, because he does die of a heart attack, doesn't he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
Jumping ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry. We've all seen it though.
And if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to take
If you
pills.
haven't seen it, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Exactly. He's taking pills, and then we kind of just see some more of northern Iraq, and then we get this like really, I laugh at this every time I see it. Is like these three men who are just hammering away, like I guess it's like a sword or some sort of like digging device, and they're just like going ham on this hammer. Every time I see it, I'm just dying. They're like so into it. And then we kind of get like the final shot of Father Marin and this giant statue with a huge dick, which I always thought was like really, really funny. And that shot, I like the shot a lot because it's very windy. There's dust everywhere and sand.
The dogs are fighting and shit too. Right?
Yeah. When everybody starts going fucking crazy, and he's just staring at the statue. And
the audio, like, I'm glad you brought that up. The audio in that part it's creeping, the fact that if stillness had a sound,
yeah,
that's what stillness would sound like.
Exactly.
It's so disconcerting.
Yeah, it's almost like listening to like a windstorm underwater.
That's a good way of putting it.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, words.
It was just the way that it was presented, man. That you knew that scene set the tone for what the fuck was about to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes you uncomfortable.
There was a lot of demon dick on the screen there for a few minutes, but after that, yeah, he did some. Yeah.
I love that scene so much. It's really beautiful too. It's like really obviously shocking, and you're like, well, I guess I know what I'm getting myself into while watching this. It's just great, and I just love like everything around him is just going crazy. The dogs are fighting. The men are like staring at him while he's like looking at the statue. And then he goes to talk. Wait, is this before or after? No, before he goes to talk and say that he's moving. Okay, I jumped ahead of myself on my notes. But he goes to talk and be like, hey, I need to like leave. And then that's when we kind of work to the statue, like the clock stops and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So those are little things that happen that you kind of realize that shit's about to go down in this film.
Real.
Then we move over to Georgetown, and we kind of get introduced to the family. We get introduced to Reagan and Chris, and realize that they kind of have like a pretty happy life and whatnot. And She's an actress. And then one night she wakes up, she hears like these noises in the attic. As soon as you hear that stuff, it's really creepy. And I remember watching this movie too. I was really, really young when I saw this. I saw this after I saw Halloween, so like I was already kind of scared of a lot of things as a kid, and it took me a long time to really break out of my shell and embrace horror. I saw Halloween when I was about, I always forget, I think it was like around like 10, and that scared the shit out of me. And I think I saw this right around the same time as you, Gabby, when I was like 12, maybe 13.
Yeah.
And this was like the first like real like horror movie I saw, and I watched it with my mom. And I just remember being scared and turning away all the time. And as soon as like this part came on, I remember it very well. I had to leave the room because the noises were so loud in the scene and her walking into the room. Like I was peeking around the corner watching this. And my mom's just sitting on the couch, like, you know, she's all fine with like a cup of coffee, and I was like, what the fuck? How can you do this? So yeah, she like walks into the room, like the windows are wide open, and she sees that her daughter Reagan isn't covered at all. So she goes and covers up Reagan. Then we move to the next day. No, nothing really happens there. You kind of like suspect something's happening because it's a little weird that the window's wide open and she doesn't have a blanket on or anything. And her mom's just like, I guess it's all right. Doesn't even question like how the window opened or anything like that. Doesn't even check to see if her daughter's like warm or anything. She just throws the blanket on. Like I would check her, like, are you alive? So
she's laying there pretty blap the fuck up. I ain't even gonna lie. She's all like facing the shit, arm ball, like
yeah, exactly.
Like, she got, like messed, you know, blap the fuck up, and she's okay. Let me just throw that on there for you.
It's like, oh, here's your blankets, and we'll move up to the next day. And then she starts talking to her butler and the other housekeeper. It's like, oh, we got rats. And he's like, no, we don't. We ain't got rats. I just cleaned up there. And she's like, no, we have rats. I heard it. It's like, okay.
It's rats, okay?
Yeah, it's rats.
He gets so defensive.
Mm-hmm. He really does. He's like, you're questioning my job here? Are you questioning my loyalty to you? No.
Like the sound was so loud. How can you blame it on? It sounded like the
it's
Ninja
nonsense.
That's at the very least a raccoon.
I mean, my God, like that's a big fucking rat.
Like a bomb went off in her freaking attic. It's like
she go upstairs and Master Splinter's sitting there eating a slice of pizza.
Couple of turtles doing kung fu.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, get the rat. Fuck out of here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like saying like, I don't know how the hell she would think that was rats. Me, logically, I obviously would have checked on Reagan.
As someone who had 4 rats as pets too, you know what I mean? They're not that loud.
Yeah. Like after I checked on Reagan.
You had rats as pets? My husband had 4 of them. Pet, and he loved his rat.
Oh, they're the sweetest things ever. They're like honestly like little tiny dogs, in a way.
My son is 4, and I can't wait until we can get him a pet rat.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. I recommend it.
Yeah, they are really nice. They're very playful. Every time we went over there, whenever we took them out.
Yeah, super cuddly.
Really, really cute.
When my husband was in college, he would tuck his rat in his shirt pocket. And
I took my rat to Walmart when he wants. I put him in my sweatshirt pocket. And
hilarious. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
Come on.
For a lot of people, it's the tails that you have to get over, but
I don't mind that at all. It's a tail.
Oh, fuck a tail. Who cares?
Yeah, no, I think it's cute.
Yeah. But anyway, back to The Exorcist. Yeah, the guy is kind of like really upset in a way of like her saying like, you didn't clean up there. Essentially, it's like, what are you pretty much saying? Like, you don't think I like cleaned up there? You don't think I'm taking care of the house, whatnot? And she's like, no, just put some rat traps up there. So they do that. Then we jump to the filming of the movie that Chris is in, and we kind of get introduced to the director and realize that this guy's kind of a shithead right off the bat. You kind of like want to like him, even though you don't really see him that much, but you can tell that he just doesn't care about anything. But she was even asking him like, so what is why are we here? Why are we doing this protest? And he's like, don't worry about it. It's like she wants to be obviously in character. She wants to give the passion there and get the understanding of why she's doing what she's doing in this certain scene, which is understandable. If I was an actor, I was doing a scene that involved a shit ton of people, and you had to do a protest or something along the lines like this, and you're the main speaker of the scene. She runs up there through all of them and starts speaking. I would want to know what I'm fighting or
yeah, you
whatnot.
want to know the details.
Exactly, and I think everybody would kind of speak on that and be like, "Yeah, I need to know what I'm doing so I can get the emotion behind it." But as she's doing that, we kind of get zoomed over to a priest. We don't know who he is yet, but he is watching, and we cut to him a lot during this whole scene. And as he's like walking away, we watch him kind of fade away, and then I think it's Chris who's walking home, and we get the theme song, the theme that plays so freaking. It's just, it gives me goosebumps.
It was that scene too when I
Every
recognized
time.
the movie, like, because I hadn't seen it in so long, like since forever ago when I was a kid or whatever. But like, it was like that scene though when it was like, I've seen this movie before. It was that music. It just like clicked, you know.
And it's funny too because that playlist I have of like all like the horror movie themes, like that's one I would throw on so much. It's just so chilling.
Is it playing in anybody else's head right now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I do.
4 themes in the history of horror that you know right off the bat: Halloween.
Yep.
Amityville Horror.
Yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone's another one, but The Exorcist.
Yes.
You know right off the bat some of the most iconic stuff, and it's up there. You know, Halloween's a great theme, but The Exorcist theme is up there with it for me.
It has more body to it.
It does. It does.
Got so much more going on.
Yeah, it does.
And it really finishes the feel of how you're supposed to be feeling for this film: anxious, sad, a little depressed, surprised, angry. There's a little bit of anger in it. Everything is in that theme, and just like with them walking down the street, it fits so perfect. It sets up the whole, like, this feeling of that town also, like how all these other people eerie. Are. It's so beautiful, but it's so chilling at the same time.
No, that's a beautiful way to say it.
Want me to throw it to them?
Yeah.
All right, we'll throw it to you guys. He's trying to find a spot. So if you guys want to take it from there, it's all
go on, Horror Gamer.
Oh, you want horror? Oh, okay. All right. So I love the fact, like, we meet Karis, okay, and I believe he is visiting his mom.
Yes.
Okay.
He's visiting his mom. He goes into his mom's house, and it's an old, like, rustic kind of home. He's from his mom's old school, you know what I mean? Old school Spanish, a kind of deal, you know what I mean? And she's sitting there, and she must have something wrong with her legs, because it cuts to a scene where he's like wrapping her legs after she feeds him, and they're talking, and he's trying to talk his mom into moving into, like, I would say, a retirement community.
Yeah, something along the lines like that, yeah.
Because she can't take care of herself, and she needs help with her legs, because I guess her legs are really bad. And she's old school. This is my house. I ain't going nowhere, you know. And he tries and tries, but he just can't get nowhere with it. Okay. So he leaves, you know, she falls asleep listening to that big, beautiful, old ass radio. I think that's such a beautiful, I love radios like that. So she's sleeping, and then they cut back to where I guess Reagan and her mom are sitting there talking. Reagan's mom gets home, and he's telling her about this big, beautiful horse, and, you know, they're having this moment, and then she grabs a cookie and runs, and, you know, it's your typical family moment before things start to go wrong.
It really is. Yeah. I love the whole family aspect in this really thing, how close they are, you know.
Yeah. Exactly, because that's where they're going to hit you with the boom when stuff really starts going, because you see, like, this is a wholesome family. They're just trying to live their lives. It's Reagan's birthday, you know, so she wants to do something special, but you find out that her dad's kind of like a piece of crap because I guess he didn't even call her on her birthday. And
Nope.
then we get to the scene that's basically what starts the trigger events here. That's when they're down in the basement or their playroom or whatever, and they introduce the Ouija board.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I think she names whatever entity she's talking to is Captain Howdy. Is the name. Okay, so I mean, I know demons lie, but don't you think it could have came up with a better name than damn Captain Howdy? Like, come on. Like,
I think for a kid in the 70s, though, that would have been like, oh yeah, this guy's great. He's Captain Howdy.
Yeah, true. And it fooled the shit out of her, you know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, hey, Captain Howdy. Here's the red flag for your boy, though. Okay. They're sitting there talking, you know, playing around stuff. And then when Reagan shows the Ouija board to her mom, and her mom says, well, let's play. You know, you want to try it? Yeah. And they go to put their hands on it, and the planchette goes to no by itself.
Oh, yeah, immediately.
And like, and then their mom's like, you really don't want me to play, do you? And I saw that part. I'm like, bitch, did you see your daughter touch it?
That was exactly what I thought.
By itself.
Also, another thing that if you listen, you might actually not hear her say this really quick, but she said, oh, I've played this multiple times before. Like, I've done it myself. So she's already like there. She already has this thing.
She just invited this motherfucker right in.
Yeah.
It's like you fucked your family and yourself immediately.
And too,
fuck around and find out.
Yeah, basically. And that's the thing, they tell you, like, even on the Milton Bradley ones that you can buy nowadays, you're not supposed to play with those things by yourself.
Nope.
Side note, everyone. Has anybody here actually played with a real Ouija board?
I have.
Any experiences to share? Or?
Yeah, I mean nothing like super duper serious, but I would say maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. It was in a library, which was really weird. We were in like a side room, me and a couple of my friends. We just brought it because we were trying like all these things out, you know, like, oh, we're gonna go get like crystals and stuff like this and do like all these weird things. But like, let's start with the Ouija board. We'll bring it over where there's a lot of people. Go to the library. We're going in the side room, and we were moving it. Well, we weren't moving it. We had it there. We were asking questions, and then, I mean, I'm still kind of a skeptic because there was like maybe like 4 or 5 of us doing it. So I mean, at any point, and maybe it could have been somebody, but I have an open mind where I'm just like, I don't think it was them because they were the type of people who wouldn't lie about something like this. And it was moving, and it spelled out die.
Yeah.
And we were just like, nope, never again. Nope. And never touched another Ouija board ever. Nothing ever happened to any of us, thankfully. But yeah, that's my experience. And we literally took the thing and threw it. We were like, nope, fucking done, and left the library immediately.
I had an experience with a Ouija board. It was pretty fucking terrifying. A buddy of mine, we were like, hey, let's try playing with this Ouija board in this graveyard. I mean, fucking why not?
The best place to do it, man.
You know, just do it fucking big, right?
Yeah, your friend is like the king of good ideas. Shit.
I mean, I know. And I'm just the court jester right behind his fucking ass. Oh, yeah, let's do it, buddy. Sounds good. Sounds like a good idea. So we're sitting there playing with it. And it was weird. I knew something was off because we had played with it. We have a mountain where we live called Chickies, okay? We started there, really didn't get much, you know. Then we went to this cemetery, and then it was weird because everything was starting to like spell backwards. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what the fuck? And it spelled out Chickies backwards. We got on something with Chickies, and I was like, kind of meh. But we asked, where do we know you from? Because we asked, do you know? And it said Chickies. I said, oh shit, okay. And then we start talking to a little bit, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna go. Bye. Well, then, you know, I had the bright idea. This was mine. We decided to take it to my parents' house and play with it out front of the house. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we got on there and so started moving. And then I was like, do I know you? And they said, yeah. I said, where do we know you? Spelled out Chickies in reverse again. And we're like, okay, listen, you got to go. We're at my house. You got to go. And I don't know if you guys know this, but in the demon world, everything is spelled backwards.
Yeah.
So it's spelling Chickies backwards. So my buddy thinks we were on with a demon, whatever, you know. After it left, we got on again and we got on with another entity. And we asked who it was, and it said Angela. A girl by the name of Angela was murdered in my parents' house back in the 70s.
Oh shit.
Oh damn.
Get the fuck out of here.
No.
And so we were talking to her, and I was like, you know, are you evil? It said no. I was like, well, do you like our family? And it said no. And I said, well, do you like my dad? And she said, yeah. And then I asked, do you like me? No. And I asked, do you like my mom? No. I was like, why? And it spelled out fighting. My mom and I would butt heads a lot back in the day. So it said it didn't like us because me and my mom would fight all the time. And then it spelled out basement.
You're giving me
I was like,
chills right
what?
now, dude.
I know.
And okay, yeah, I'm getting chills now just thinking about it. I was like, what do you mean basement? And it spelled out COME, come. I was like, you want me to come to the basement?
Wait, were you alone doing this?
No, it was with my buddy. My buddy was doing it.
Okay.
And it said yes. I said, I ain't going to the basement. It said yes again. It went right up to yes again, like shot up to yes again. I'm like, I'm not doing it. And then I was like, are you scared of something? And it said yes. And then I said, what are you scared of? And the planchette kept going off of the board, pointing towards the house next door. And
Dude.
I was like, are you scared of something next door? And it spelled out yes. So apparently a woman died in the house next door, and it was like a week or two before they found her body.
What?
Ew.
So I guess
no.
whatever was in that house was like tormenting Angela. And it was crazy. And then it kept telling me to go to the basement. It wanted me to go. And I said, what about my buddy? It said, no, you. I said,
Oh
so
yeah.
I
Nope.
said, we're done. I said,
Sorry, Angie, not gonna happen.
That's not happening. And
What do you
then we
think would
got
have
off the
happened if
board.
you went down there though?
I don't know, because I felt like the way the basement was, the basement door, when you walk through the front door of the house, the basement door stared you right in the face. And
Imagine
then
just
you would
walking
turn
down
and that was
there.
living there.
Like you went down there and her face like popped around the corner and then it went
On our
right
last
back.
on our last episode together, didn't you tell a story about you locked a brother down there or something like that?
And the girl came out of the cubby hole?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
You did that to your brother?
I did.
Yeah, you had some gnarly stories last
Yeah.
I
time.
was a dick, but a lot of these stories happened in my parents' house. And
Wow.
I felt like after my buddy left, I felt like, because I had to go into the house and walk by the basement to go, through the living room and up the steps. I literally felt like every time I walked past that basement for the next week, that door was going to shoot open and something was going to grab me.
That's terrifying.
But you
Yeah.
never went down there for any of the reasons after that? Did you?
I did. And it was always like little things, like the temperature would be colder in one spot,
Ugh.
than another, or you would hear something, but I would try to play it off as something settling, or the cubby hole. I would hear something in the cubby hole, but I would kind of chalk it up as the house settling kind of deal. And then I remember one time my dad turned the lights off on me when I was down there.
Oh no.
And I swear I heard footsteps from
Dude,
the
I'm
end of the
gonna have
basement.
this is
I'm
scary
gonna
in
have
the movie.
nightmares. For real,
Okay,
though.
bye.
Literally, I heard footsteps from the end of the basement walk to the steps. And as it started walking up the steps to me, my dad opened the door and I ran out. I didn't even look behind me because I was standing there pounding on the door for him to let me out. And I just heard footsteps.
Man.
I didn't look behind me, nothing. I just gone. I'm getting chills.
my
This
God.
is stressing me out.
This is like on
That's awesome,
on
though.
the same topic of ghosts and
wow.
stuff. But before we jump back into the movie, there's something I need to track down and send to you guys if I can get it. There was somebody when I was streaming on Twitch. That was a girl who would come in there and she would talk to me. She'd be like, Yeah, I've had experience with ghosts and stuff like that because I was talking about like the podcasts and stuff, and I was like trying to get other people to come on and whatnot. So she was telling me, she's like, yeah, my dad runs like an art shop, and you know, there's this one ghost who likes to like fuck around with his stuff and whatnot. So I was like, what do you mean? And they have security cameras, right? So she's like, I think I have a video where I can show you what was going on. So she had one video that was really, really short, didn't show as much as she wanted to, but then I guess her dad had a bunch of stuff on hard drives, so they dug it out. And there was like a shelf with just a bunch of paint on it, and you just see paint flying across the room and all these weird things happening, and it just like it tumbles it over, and then a whole shelf just falls off. And I was watching this, I was like, are you sure this isn't like a doctored thing? You didn't find this on the internet or anything? She's like, no, because I think she sent me another version of like them being there watching it or something like that, was like recording it off to the camera. And I was just like, this is a shop that you guys own? And she's like, yeah, this happens like almost every single night. They have to keep spending a shit ton of money to replace all the supplies.
Oh, fuck.
So wherever the shop is, if it's still open, that ghost is still doing that shit. Just knocking paint and stuff all over it. It's like it's an evil one too. She says that it tries to hurt people, so it's not a good spirit. Just
That's not good for
knocking stuff
business.
off. No. Yeah. Just watching it, I was just like, what?
You're gonna have to find that.
Yeah, I have it on Discord somewhere. I think I can find it and send it to you guys. But like, wow, man.
Just that's
crazy stuff. I'm glad I didn't experience anything to that level, because an evil spirit fucking up your products.
Yeah, that would piss me off. That would scare the shit out of me, but that would piss me off.
But he would go there every day. He'd be in that shop every day. It only happened at night. Separate, I think she said maybe a couple of times during the day it would like fuck with her or something whenever she was there. But like,
that's where I'm getting out of the paint business.
Absolutely ridiculous. Your story just like, oh my god,
that's crazy. I have like goosebumps honestly right now.
I got them too. Like I got them chills in like the back of my ears and my neck and stuff. Just remembering
in that house, or
well, no. When my mom passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, you're good. My mom passed away, and then my dad ended up selling the house and moving to Texas. So I tried to get the house back. Because I guess the person who bought it sold it, and now they're renting it to a family.
Gotta watch the news.
Well, you know what? That's scared. Like I said, that's them. But I tried to get it back because I wanted to film a video in that basement, just to see, just like a ghost hunt, something, just to, not even a ghost hunt, just film me sitting there talking, telling the story, and see if I could pick something up. That would make
such great content, man.
Oh, dude, I missed out because I've had voices tell me to open the basement door. A female voice tell me to open the basement door.
This is better than the Exorcist movie right now. I think.
I mean, I've had so many experiences in that house. Like, I almost miss it. Like, that I don't have that at my disposal. You know what I mean? I don't have the opportunity to do that. But I mean, it's
sneaking maybe one time.
There you go.
Just knock on it.
I knock on the door and just be like, "Hey, I grew up here. Can I come in?"
Yeah, I mean, ask them, they do it in movies. It works.
Yeah, they definitely do it in movies.
No.
Make sure you bring some kind of baked good.
Yeah, I would definitely like to just go back and visit it. Like that.
That would be cool.
That would be cool because
if that ever happens, let us know.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
I would love to, especially that basement. Especially because like I had a dog who every time we would open that basement door, he would stand at the door and just bark.
Oh man!
Oh my god!
No other time. But as soon as you open that basement
animals
door,
have that sixth sense.
So, yeah. But anyway, I didn't mean to scare you guys with that. But
I love it. I love the feeling of being scared. I love
so do I.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah, so do I. But anyway, that's why with the whole Ouija board thing in The Exorcist, you don't bring something like that in, like she brought Captain Howdy.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like at that point in the movie, because later in the movie, they go to where her mom, Reagan's mom, is arguing with the woman on the phone, the operator, because he's trying to get a hold of the husband. And then later that night, she hears, Master Splinter upstairs doing his thing again, eating a sandwich or, playing hockey, upstairs.
Whatever the fuck Master
attic.
Splinter does.
And then, but when she goes up, and the candle does that hell flame.
Shut up.
Yeah. She's like,
why don't you have a flashlight?
But then the thing for me is though, even after she does that and that candle goes hell flame on her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She wakes up the next morning and it says it's a fucking rat.
Yeah. She looked at all the traps. They were all completely fine. You know what's really funny that the butler guy was like right there with her, like, oh,
setting up some traps, like you told me to.
Yeah, see, no rats. He's like, no rats. I told you, like, you dumb bitch. I told you, no rats. But how could she blame after that? Like, how the fuck can you blame it on rats? I mean, literally, your plane jolted 8 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Like, but we have to remember that this is also a family dynamic movie, that a lot of the drama and a lot of the suspense in this movie is the parental denial.
Yeah.
And the paternal denial that the mom does not want to think anything of anything. And I mean, you live in DC. I doubt it's going to be a raccoon. What else would it be?
Yeah, true.
That is very, very true. Unless it's a stranger up there. Some guy crawled into your house.
Homeless dude.
Sounded like a fucking
moose.
My
God. Let a homeless motherfucker crawl into my attic. You better clean that shit up while you're up there.
Yeah. How do people say I still don't buy the rats?
The one thing I really do like though before that is like when Reagan says to Chris is like, my bed was shaking and I couldn't go to sleep. And she's like, oh, that's okay. Like, she was just like, oh,
that's just
all right.
Yeah.
It's just a draft. It's like, just a house settling.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah, my bed was shaking. So, okay.
Go back to bed.
Like, if my son came in, he's 4 years old now, but if he came in and he was like, yeah, my bed was shaking, I can't go to sleep, I'd be like, what the? We're leaving. We're going to the hotel.
Didn't he used to say he used to like have nightmares and shit or something? Or like he used to be scared to come into his room?
Yeah, the room that we're in right now that you say that, holy fuck, here's another thing. Sorry guys, we're going like way off topic, and this used to fucking scare my fiance. She's in the other room with my son right now. They're both going to bed. But yeah, when he was young, when kids are babies and stuff, you're always like looking at them to make sure that they're breathing and whatnot, because especially as like a first time parent, you're like, oh my god, is he fine and whatnot? But he was getting a little bit older.
Oh my god, yeah.
And this is what I think actually stopped him from sleeping in his bed in this room. It's kind of weird that I moved everything into here and now claimed it as my own. But he has his bed in the other room with us, but he's slept with us for a while, and we're trying to transition him back to being in his bed. But yeah, he would like go to sleep in here. We would get him down. This is maybe it was like 1 or 2, so he was still, in his crib and whatnot. But I would be up, and I would hear something in this room, and then I would hear like his crib like kind of like rattle a little bit. But I thought maybe it was just him like moving and just like hitting the side of it, whatnot. And then I would like be like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm not gonna go check on him because I don't want to wake him up or anything. And as soon as I like to go to fall asleep, or if I do fall asleep, I remember there was a couple of times I did fall asleep, he would just wake up crying hysterically in this room. And I checked the temperature, make sure it wasn't too hot or anything, because we have like electric heating in here. I was make sure it wasn't too
cold, too hot,
cold or too hot or anything. He was fine. It was fine in here, but then I would pick him up, and then he would be looking at the corner right over here, just crying.
Nope.
Hello.
Just crying. And then I would eventually get him back down, and then like I would tell Felicia, my fiance, and she'd be like, "There's something in this house," And funny enough too, it's apparently it's not there anymore, but the people who owned this house before us and the people who lived here, I guess the daughter, she had like a little like doll, and we have like a little attic space. We don't use it, so we haven't really checked up there, but we had a guy come in here and look at just to see there's rats and stuff. It's our new landlord. Looked at it and said there was nothing up there, but apparently there was a doll that they used to have here that would like move, and they put it in the attic and left it there, but it's not there anymore. But they said before they left, this is last year before I got like switched over to a new landlord, they said, yeah, it's still up there. I never touched that thing. No one's ever touched it or anything, but as soon as the guy went up there, he said, there's no doll up here, man.
It's not there anymore?
It's not there anymore.
No, you need to move.
I mean, nothing has happened in a long time. It's been,
okay,
Logan is like 4 now.
Will.
This was 2 years ago. And so, yeah.
I say we go up there one day.
Yeah.
Dude,
we probably should film it.
Aaron is like, let's go.
So that doll probably still in the house somewhere?
Maybe
Possibly in the
somewhere.
walls.
Yeah, I don't really talk about this stuff too much because like my fiance, she's
I mean, yeah, Annabelle's up in the attic.
When
You guys can come down here and visit us, but I'm not coming up to that place.
Okay, we'll record it and put it on for the podcast. But yeah, yeah, it was just like freak days. Like he would just like wake up randomly crying, go down peacefully. He ate enough and everything, and made sure that he was good. But yeah, I just remember him crying at like it was almost at the same time if I remember it correctly, it was like almost the same time in the morning. It was like a little after 3 a.m.
Oh, so it's like haunting hour.
Shit.
It was like a consistent thing.
Hour. Yeah, great. No, bye.
But nothing has happened since. We haven't heard anything. Nothing unusual happens.
That's because bitch is stuck in the walls. You gotta get out.
Fucking Annabelle, you can stay there.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Watch, now that we're talking about this, something's gonna fucking happen.
Oh my god, I know, right?
And I'm gonna blame it on you, Aaron.
It's gonna be my fault.
I'm gonna blame it on you. But
shit.
You brought it up.
That's crazy that you know the doll in the attic story. I got one of those too.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
Man,
it's fucking crazy. I'll just throw out one, just a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes, couple seconds. So I was helping my aunt move one time, okay, into a new house, and I was there helping. I stayed the night and everything. We were getting early the next morning. Well, that night I had a dream that I was being chased around the house by this porcelain doll.
Oh no!
Porcelain was the scariest.
Oh, and I was being chased, and then towards the end of the dream, I fell down the steps. And then when I looked, the porcelain doll was right here, and I fucking woke up. I woke up in a panic or whatever. Whatever. So I managed to go back to sleep. Well, the next morning, we were starting to put shit in the attic.
Oh,
and we found this chest in the attic. And we opened it up. And it was full of porcelain dolls. And she picked up a she picked up a porcelain doll. Tell me why it was the same porcelain doll that was in my dream.
I'm out. Bye.
Fuck that.
You guys.
Exact same one.
Dude.
The face, the fucking dress it was wearing was the exact same one that I had the dream about.
And you'd never seen it before the dream?
I never saw it before. When she opened that chest and showed me the doll that she pulled out, I cried. I was like 15 years old and I broke down in tears. I said, I can't do it. I got to go. I can't help you. That's the same doll I had to dream about last night.
If we're going to go into creepy dolls, you guys, we can do this now or we can do it after recording. But I have actually up in my bedroom in my rocking chair, I can show you the creepiest fucking doll.
You can do it right now if you want to.
Get it? All right, I'll be right back. Talk about yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I love about having guests on the show is just the stories.
Yeah. Actually, there was one other thing that happened really recently. I don't know what it was, but Felicia, she woke up. I think I was coming to bed. I turned off all the lights. We don't really have anything that shows light in here anywhere, except for maybe one little light that's in our neighbors that shines through a little bit. But other than that, my house is pitch black when we shut off all the lights. And then she as I was settling down, I was like pretty much asleep. Like I was like about to, actually be asleep. She pokes me. I didn't tell you this. This happened maybe like 2 months ago.
Okay.
She pokes me and she says, "What is that light out there?" I was like, what light are you talking about? She's like, "It looks like a fire." So I look out there. I'm like, there's no fucking light out here. I go back and lay down. She's like, "It's still over there." I'm like, "What are you talking about? There's no light." I check the stove, make sure that there's no fires or anything going on, even though we have electric. She's like, "I definitely see a fire right there." I'm like, "Where is it?" She's like, "It's over by where our couch used to be."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "There's nothing there." So I investigated. Nothing happened. We went back to bed. But then the next morning, she's like, "Wasn't there a fire here last night?" I was like, "There was no fire here. What are you talking about?" So she must have been either like really like into her dream. She was like talking out loud. Like she was like almost like sleepwalking, but obviously not sleepwalking, but sleep talking. But like it was scaring the fuck out of me. I was like, "What do you mean? There's no fire in the house. They have no lights on right now. What are you talking about?" Oh, but yeah, that happened recently.
Maybe orb or something.
Maybe.
She
The
was
damn
like
doll.
in that.
Oh, man.
So she was in bed while this was happening. Like she was like in between.
Yep.
They say like when you get in between like sleep and being awake, when you're at that perfect point, your mind is at its most open, and maybe she saw it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is
like 2 months ago.
And it makes
crazy.
sense though if like it is like paranormal, like like if you're that's probably when you're most vulnerable too. Your mind's most vulnerable. So like, but
yeah. All right, let's see this doll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll excited.
So, a little backstory. My entire family are auctioneers and antique dealers. So, when my grandmother was alive, every year for Christmas, I would get a porcelain doll, but it was like brand new. She would just buy me a porcelain doll.
Or Graham's like, yeah.
My parents did the same thing for my sister with Barbies.
They're in a garbage bag somewhere on my mother's property. I have not looked at those in years. But for when I was 13 for Christmas, my mom went to the auction hall and she found me an antique doll.
Nope.
And she dressed it in her christening outfit.
Oh
so
no.
Oh my
this
God.
is the doll. Okay.
That is terrifying.
Oh, it gets better.
Oh no. Oh
what
my
the
God.
Fuck?
It's got two heads.
What?
Well, two faces.
It's got three.
Oh my God.
What the hell's that? Oh.
Why?
And you just leave it chilling on a fucking rocking chair.
Why do people
My husband
these
keeps
things?
it covered completely. You can't find it. Took me a minute to find it because it's completely covered.
I don't blame him.
These eyes follow you.
That looks like they definitely do. I can feel it right now.
That's why I keep it on sleeping.
Yeah. I mean, what if you looked over there and the eyes were open?
That is all. Oh man,
that is fucking nightmare fuel.
You don't keep it in like near your bed, do you? Like just watching you. You don't keep it like in your bed.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I keep it. The rocking chair is on my husband's side of the bed, so it's constantly covered in a pile of his clothes. I don't think that. I mean, when I had it when I was single, like when I lived on my own, it was on a chair and I never thought anything of it. The doll has never done anything creepy except that its eyes seem to follow you. But yeah, this is.
I'm noping out of that one.
Every time I show this doll to people, and I remember when I was 13 and I would show it to people, like, this is my mom's christening gown. And I thought it was so beautiful and amazing. And like, I came from an antique family. So I was like,
used to
dolls from like 1892. This is amazing. And my friends were like, no, you're a fucking weirdo.
No, like it is really fucking cool. It's just like creepy, you know what I mean? Like just the fact that that has so many faces, you know.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
And then the first time that I saw that, like that I noticed that the eyes seemed to track you, that was like, I get it now. I don't like this.
That's a no for me, dog.
But that's I have the trump card of creepy dolls.
It's like my mom has a thing with like with dolls and stuff like that, especially like the peekaboo dolls or whatever the hell they were, the ones that you put up against like the walls and you see like the backs of them.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
my grandmother used to have those all over the place,
I
and
hated
my
those
mom would
things as
take
a
them and
kid.
throw them in the trash.
No,
I'm
they're
like,
so
I don't blame
scary.
you. So
The ones that had no faces.
Yeah,
and, like,
the
the
one-
nubs for hands.
yep,
Oh
Yeah,
no,
the
I hated
pika-
those things.
Yeah.
Yep.
The pika I'm out
Those little
later.
mitts.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah,
No.
Oh,
my
man.
grandmother used to
Yeah.
have dolls like that all over the house.
yeah,
man.
mine did too. And now I'm just
Don't know
remembering them and
why.
having flashbacks and just being terrified of them.
Oh man.
Oh, hell no. Nope. Well, anyway.
It's so funny how everybody can agree that dolls are like fucking just the most terrifying fucking thing ever.
They really are.
They
They
are
are.
unneeded.
Yeah, that's. Oh,
So The
no, thank you.
Exorcist, am I right?
Oh,
Yeah,
No,
right.
this movie's great.
yeah.
What's the
I
episode
will,
about again?
I'm actually gonna hand it off now that I'm freaked the fuck out to whoever wants to pick up where we left off. Fuck
Gabby,
that.
if you want to take a stab at it,
If not, I can.
or Aaron, whoever wants, you guys can.
I don't even remember where we left off. Let's
the
Aaron,
flaming
get wet.
candle.
Yeah. Splinter was in the attic playing hockey, and then she went up and the candle came up.
You want to go, Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We'll go to Aaron, then we'll go back to you, Gabby.
he like goes up to the attic, she talks to her assistant, all that. Then there isn't really much more after that's when it cuts to the church, right? is there-
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. With the guy.
Yeah.
I love this.
So meanwhile, we cut to a nearby church where one of the fathers or priests, or I'm not sure, I'm not religious, so I'm not sure what like the titles are, but
But they're all fathers. Well,
Yeah.
that's just, I think it's
the
same thing as a
religious
priest.
person, I guess. But he's going around, he's prettying up the place, he's got some fresh flowers, he's gonna put them by the Virgin Mary. You know, he puts one down, goes to put one across the other way, and realizes that the Virgin Mary has been defiled.
Yeah.
It's got like
Got a
spiked
dick.
titties and like penises off of it, just like clay stuck to the front of it.
It's like, what?
Um,
That's hilarious looking, though. It
Yeah.
really is.
So, anyways, yeah. So he receives this, and he's just like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Okay, something's wrong here, obviously." And it's made with clay, which is kind of funny because a lot of Reagan's like her crafts and stuff were made out of clay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So, such as like small sculptures, shit.
Yeah,
like
like
that.
the one that she was making in the basement before the Ouija board thing. That was also a clay thing.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of I'm not sure if it's like foreshadowing something or,
Oof.
but meanwhile, go back to Kara's mother where she is sick, and she ends up getting put in some like shitty old folks hospital, like not a place you want to be. The people are all like, they see the priest walking, they're like, "Help me, Father, help!
Yeah.
Get me out of here!" So they're clearly not being treated well. Nobody wants that for their parents, but he was in a desperate situation. There's nothing else he could do. They don't have the money for it, and
Yeah. And his, I think, the brother was there too, who was also just like, yeah, I can't.
uncle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, I can't really do anything. It's like, this is
Mhm.
where she needs to be and whatnot.
Yep. So, anyways, yeah, she's in like a ward with just all mentally. I don't want to say incompetent, but like mentally unstable people, will say.
Yeah. A bunch of old folks.
But he goes to visit her, and she's not happy with him because she's blaming it on him. That she's stuck there, that she let him go there, and then she ends up passing away, which just makes him even more. I mean, who wouldn't be upset?
Yeah,
Losing their mother, but-
that really does suck too. I mean, you can kind of also probably tell maybe she has some sort of like mental disease going on too, maybe dementia or something like that too, because she's very like displaced a lot.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And one thing that really pissed me off was the uncle says to Karis, it's like, she'd be living in a mansion right now if you were like an actual psychiatrist. So it's like, go fuck you, man.
There's always that one fucking family member
that's
that's just a
bullshit.
complete asshole.
Yeah.
And it has to make
Doesn't
petty
he
little
seem
comments.
kind of like a sleaze bag though, the uncle?
Yeah. He
He
really,
just
really
seems
is.
really greasy and slimy, and
Mhm.
I can't.
Mhm.
Almost
something
like a
about him I
loan shark
can't
type.
feel.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But so she ends up passing away. He's upset. But then go to Chris's house.
The big
party
part that happens.
Yes. But we got a lot of like rich people, and there's a one of her guests named Father Dyer.
Yep.
Who she asked him about Karis, who she noticed kind of just appearing, and
wherever she was filming, he was there.
yeah. But he does mention though he's like a wicked movie buff though too, right?
That's
He's like a normal guy. I think he's a Jesuit. I don't think that he's like full on. I think he's a Jesuit.
Yeah.
The movie buff.
Oh, I'm thinking of the detective. Yes, I'm mixing up characters right now.
That's okay. There's quite a few characters for this movie, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But lost my place again. Sorry.
It's okay. I know the real big thing that happens is like when the director and the butler start fighting, he keeps calling him a fucking Nazi.
Yeah, fucking Nazi bastard. He's all drunk.
Because he's so drunk.
But,
Bert, I love Bert.
And then when they're escorting him out, and he's like, he's singing something he knows what the fuck he's saying, but ain't nobody else understand what he's saying.
And the butler's in the background like,
yeah.
You, I hate you. Yeah.
I wonder if he had a cab or if they were just like expecting him to drive home. Because they don't really see what the fuck happened.
They do mention somebody
It was
being
the
out
70s.
there.
You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, they could just be throwing him out like, oh, good luck.
Yeah, have fun, dude. You know where you're going, right?
Wake up the next morning, he's laying on the doorstep still, all fucking
sleeping off. His head's backwards. But so everybody's partying, and Reagan ends up going up to bed. Everybody, all the adults are having their adult time, their good time. But anyway, she seems normal, but after she comes back from bed, she comes downstairs in her nightgown, everything, and she ends up just standing in the middle of everybody and just pissing in the middle of the floor and the carpet, saying, "If you go up there, you're gonna die."
Yeah. This is when all the good quotes start happening too, because this movie is filled with really good quotes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them written down just because it's.
I mean,
it's
how
so
many
good.
times have you said to somebody, "You're gonna die up there"?
A lot.
I mean, yeah.
While simultaneously pissing yourself.
Exactly.
Oh my god, at least twice a week. I mean, yeah.
That's an every Tuesday occurrence.
This is literally when everything starts going south real fucking fast.
Oh yeah.
Yep, this is where it picks up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess you could probably say this movie's kind of a slow burn.
But it's in ways.
It's
but it keeps you intrigued throughout the whole thing though.
It's good because the characters are really good.
Yeah.
No.
See, I think that Horror Gamer is going to disagree with me because he hates this movie, but I think that Hereditary takes a little bit from this movie in that at first it's a slow burn, but it's also a drama. So it keeps you engaged because there's a lot of dramatic shit going on, and there's the family dynamic that you're learning about, and there's the mom's life that you're learning about, and there's all of these things. There's this whole plot that's going on until what the movie is about happens,
and then it's all about that,
and then it's just fuck you and everybody else. Like that's just So
Hereditary's starting to grow on me.
What?
I'm gonna say
right now. No, this is The Exorcist. We'll talk about that later.
I'm gonna say one thing.
Next week on Horror Haven LLC. Oh my god.
So it takes a lot to scare me, especially now with how many movies I've seen. Hereditary, that movie shook me.
I'm trying to think if I've seen Hereditary. I don't think I have.
Honestly, you haven't. I've been telling you to watch it.
Here's the thing about Hereditary for me, and I'm just going to be brutally honest.
I don't think so, honestly. No.
It's not, okay. It grew on me, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. All I'm saying is when you advertise yourself to be the scariest movie, says The Exorcist, and you don't deliver that, it's because in my opinion, it didn't deliver that.
It was a big claim.
To you?
For me.
It scared the shit out of me, man.
Yeah.
It did deliver for me.
Dustin. High
Now,
fives all around. Yeah.
now I will say though, like I said, I will say it has grown on me because I watched it again recently, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not being fair to this movie in the
Oh,
fact that
yeah.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just for me, it's not scary.
Mm-hmm.
When you start your horror movie viewing age at 5, watching The Exorcist, there's really not much
Yeah.
that you can watch that
That's
scares you.
that's what I was saying. Like, not that many things have scared me that much, but for something in that movie that's like it shook me, and I felt scared. I couldn't go to sleep that night.
I'm gonna have to go watch
The
it later
part
now.
that okay,
Don't watch it at night, boy. Before you go to bed, trust
yeah,
me.
don't watch it at night.
Okay.
Especially if
No.
you get easily shook. Don't watch it at night because there is a scene with wall crawling and stuff that
Oh
I
no.
will
Okay,
say.
yeah. I'll watch it tomorrow during the day.
Yeah, that's the scene that's playing through my head right now.
Yeah, that's the scene right there that it gets you. But like the build up to that, it's super slow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is a scene with a telephone
No,
pole.
don't.
Yeah,
Don't give
don't.
me anything.
Yeah, don't spoil
I'm
it for
not
me.
giving anything
No,
away.
he's
I'm
not.
just
He's
saying.
just saying that the scenes with certain
Yeah.
things.
There's
in
a
it.
scene that involves a telephone pole.
Oh
That's
man.
pretty. I
I
think.
can only
it's kinda funny.
imagine.
All I'm gonna say is,
Aaron, as soon as we're done, let's.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
We gotta have a
kidding. Let's wrap it up. I'm
conversation about it.
kidding. But yeah, Aaron, you have to watch it as soon as humanly possible. It is. I think it's
good.
built like The Exorcist, that it
I
starts
agree.
out as this is a case study in family
Mm.
drama and dynamic,
Mhm.
and then it's like, okay, well, here's evil, and here's what happens to the family. So not only are you freaked out about the evil, but you're freaked out for this family, this poor
Mhm.
innocent family. They love each other, and they love each other so much that all they want is for everybody to be okay.
Yep.
And every single person is willing to sacrifice their okay for everybody else's okay.
Oh,
And
man.
that to me is like, it's the things that they have to go through to get to the okay are terrifying. But just the fact that you're willing to do that, and Dustin, I think that you can agree with me. I have a 4-year-old too. So as a parent,
Yeah.
you'll do whatever it
hits.
takes, and it's fucking scary. But I would walk into hell with a Miss America wave for my child. You know what I mean? You just do it. But it's scary to think about that, but you would still do it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that, like, being a parent, like, ever since being a parent, things have been a lot harder to watch when kids are involved.
Fucking
I feel
right.
like when you're not a parent, it's just like, yeah, it's just a kid. But as soon as you have something that, you know, you created, essentially, you know, in the room with you or anywhere, and just knowing that, but you're watching a movie where in some movie a kid's getting like brutalized or getting like freaking eaten alive by the blob or some shit like that, it hits hard, man.
It hurts your heart.
And I think that's another reason why the movie fucking scared me so much, to be honest.
Well,
so many layers.
Yeah. But The Exorcist, I think, is the same way. That even, I mean, of course, when I was 12, I didn't have any children, but watching it, thinking that like your child, your parent. I mean, I could see it from the perspective of a child and their parent, that if my mom walked into the room and pissed herself and said something creepy, of course I would give her a bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if her bed started shaking, of course I would jump in the bed with her.
Yeah.
You know, this movie taps into so many emotions for anybody who has a mother, who has a father, who has a sister, a brother, a child, whatever. It hits you exactly where it's supposed to. It just taps every single nerve. That the scene where, I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, where they're doing the testing on Reagan in the hospital, and they've got that thing in her collarbone, and it's spinning around, and it's like, I don't care who that is, you feel that pain.
Yeah.
I can't watch that.
That scene was hard to watch.
Had to turn away.
Yeah. You know the guy that was in that scene? He was a serial killer in real life. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
In real life, yeah.
The nurse that was in that
I was trying to think if I
later
actually
arrested
knew
for
that.
No
a
shit.
series of killings. Yeah.
You learn so many weird facts about
Oh,
movies.
imagine how like the girl's parents must have felt knowing like, oh, she was just filmed a movie with a fucking serial killer after like
It's a cursed film, man.
Yeah.
Really
This
is.
movie- God did not want this movie to be made. But anyway, I
Wow.
I digress.
It's okay. I love just going off the beaten path like this. And
That's what I was saying
doing
earlier.
shit.
That's why I love about having guests, is all the stories, the conversations you have, you know.
It's great. But Aaron, do you want to continue or want to pass it off?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so after that whole ordeal with pissing on the floor, everybody leaves. She starts giving Reagan a bath. And she puts her back to bed. And then suddenly she hears like a loud noise from her daughter's bedroom, rushes back down the hall and finds her daughter just screaming like Bloody Mary, just fucking with her bed just bouncing up and down. She's like, "Stop, Mom, make it stop, Mama."
And they're all like trying to jump on it
Yeah.
to like stop it.
Like-
It's like, fuck, man.
Imagine just walking into that shit, like
Listen,
the fact, but
I
yeah,
would burn that house to the ground and piss on the ashes
Mhm.
for real,
Oh,
after that.
when it stops and
10 times.
her fucking throat bulges and she makes the sound for the first time, the growl, the first time. Ugh. That is
Fuck
the reason
off.
that I have never once, morning, afternoon, or night, I have never watched that movie alone. Ever. Ever. That sound, that growl. ugh,
Yeah,
No, done. Mm-mm.
No.
sticks with
Nope.
you.
It does, yeah.
It does.
That's, yeah.
So hard.
I remember. No, I ain't gonna tell you that story. I have a whole bunch. You don't understand. Like,
You guys,
and
you
all of
need
it's
to-
true.
You need
Every
to do
story.
a mini series on the podcast of yours of just horror gamer telling his stories and trying to freak
Story
everybody
time
You know
with
what?
horror
That could
gamer.
be like that could be a 4-hour podcast because I
Dude.
literally have like hundreds of stories to
That
tell.
sounds like an easy few weeks for me. I say we set that up.
Do it right now.
And listen, and every one of these stories that I tell you is 100% true. I don't
Oh, I
make up
believe you.
anything. I don't make up anything. I always tell a story that experience that happens to me. I had an experience with the bed shaking one time.
Oh no.
Not as violently as that, but I did have an experience when I was younger with my bed shaking.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep. So, but I'm not going to get into that. I'll
We'll
just
have
tell
to,
you.
like, do a whole episode on like paranormal stories and shit like
Yeah.
that. That would be
That'd
fun.
great.
So, but that bed scene shaking part, like I said, that shit hits close to home because I know like, how they felt because I felt just as vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like,
You
there's
know?
nothing you can do in that situation.
There's not,
Not really.
no,
No.
absolutely not. All I did when my bed was shaking, I cried, and it was one of the most terrifying things that ever happened. One of them. I've had a
I'd
lot.
be under the blanket in the fetal position, just waiting for it to stop.
No, it was bad. So I know what they went through with that. No,
That sounds fucking
my
awful.
mom came in and ripped me off the bed.
Damn.
Did
no.
your mom like see it shaking or?
Yeah, she saw it shaking. That's why she pulled me off the bed.
Okay.
And we ran
Oh yeah,
downstairs.
obviously.
Shit, dude.
Yep.
Wow.
That bed started shaking. She come in and asked me what I was doing because she said it sounded like I was jumping on it. And she come in to see what I was doing, and the fucking bed's going like this. And I'm sitting
Jesus.
there crying. She grabs me off the fucking bed, and we run down the steps.
Wow.
So I know what those girls were going through.
Live quite the
See,
life,
my
man.
mom wasn't dumb enough to jump on the bed. Like, what the fuck were you doing jumping on the bed? I mean, no sense. What were you gonna stop the bed for
Yeah,
shaking?
Ellen
Yeah,
Burstyn.
exactly.
Like, why
Did
would you
anybody
jump on
read
the
the
bed?
novel?
No,
but
I
need
haven't.
to.
It's definitely something I do want to read at some point, though, when I have time to read.
Besides loving the movie, everybody should read it. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It is
I
a
had to read it.
really good book.
I'm
Isn't
trying
it a
to get
little
back into
boy in
reading.
the book?
I have such a hard time focusing on it.
I got to read the book. We got to get the play to come back.
Yes.
And we got to have a horror gamer story session for
Yeah.
5 hours.
You
No, I
do.
was just kidding. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, no, you
Back
good.
to
No,
the
you,
Exorcist.
dude, you are
I love it.
perfectly fine. Whenever you guys have anything to chime in, just go right
Go for
ahead.
it.
I don't want anything to be cut off if you guys have something to say. No holding back.
But excuse me. So anyway, she jumps in the bed. You know, she's trying to weigh it down, get it to stop, but the shit's still floating. So,
Yeah.
excuse me, some. But Annette, it's still floating. Nothing. She didn't do anything. But then, she decides to give in. She's like, I'm gonna, I gotta take her to a doctor.
Yeah.
I gotta get something done. And so she takes her, puts her through all these grueling medical tests, like we're talking about.
With a serial killer.
Yeah, getting stabbed in the throat with a needle by a serial killer.
That looks still
and
hard.
it squirts. It squirts out.
Yeah.
Ew.
And the doctor was so casual.
He
He was just so casual
He's
about
like,
it.
yeah, okay, we're gonna do this and do that. Oh, here's a tube. Okay.
But
Don't forget about the very first flash of Pazuzu that happens too before all this happens with the dreaming and shit.
Oh yeah.
With
That's still stuck in my head.
it happens twice in this film when we get the face flash, but that's like the first time. It's like when the bed's like shaking and when
she sees Pazuzu.
yeah, I think it's when she's dreaming is when she sees
No, it cuts from the bed to Karis dreaming, and he sees his mother coming up out of the subway, and that's
yeah, that's right.
And
That's
then
right.
turning back around to walk down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Karis, Damien, come over. Damien. Like, no, I'm not fucking going.
And what's scary too is like demons are supposed like from the sound like like you read and stuff, they're supposed to be like master manipulators and like which is the scary part because they'll say whatever it takes to get this little girl like
the truth is in their lies, as they say later.
Yeah. And the crazy part about that scene with Karis in his dream, what made it scary was there was no sound. All the sound was him breathing as he was sleeping.
Oh yeah.
And the very,
Like
very
him kind of
low
like
faint
snoring.
of her saying like,
And the mom like reaching out to him. She was like reaching for him.
Yeah, but other than that, like there was a whole world going on around them, and there was no sound coming out of that world. That sorry.
Anytime there's no sound, it increases the scary by like at least like 40%. I mean,
that's because you're expecting something
to come up. Yeah.
Yeah, you're expecting something to go. You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't. It's just it plays with your head.
Yeah, it
does.
Yeah, but that first image of Pazuzu, I think, is tattooed on my brain for the rest of my life.
Sorry. Every time I think of it, I'm just looking.
It's one of the most terrifying images, I think, in film history. I think, I don't think that can be debated. I think that's just a fact. It's that flash, and it's so quick.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the first times that they ever did something that it was so quick that you didn't realize that you were seeing it, but you knew you just saw something that was fucked up.
And it just sticks in your
head.
And
then it just kind of replayed over and over and over in your head. And you're
going through my head right now, I'll tell you that much.
Thinking about it throughout the movie, you're like, shit, so that's who's behind all this.
Yep, that's the motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, she goes all through all these medical tests and needles in her throat, all that. And they come up clean. The best that they can come up with is a guess that she might have like a lesion on her brain. They're like, oh, we just got to take the scar out and she'll be okay. But they scan her brain, and can we talk about how terrifying the fucking MR, whatever the scanning, that loud noise it makes?
Oh, yep. That startles you too, because it's fairly quiet up until that. I mean, the whole like procedure of her
being like a little girl experiencing all this, just like
awake too. By the way, she's awake. Yeah. I don't even think they did. They gave her
an anesthetic, I think, or whatever.
But she's like wide awake, and her mom's watching all this. I would have to leave the room. Like, how can you stand there and watch that happen? I'd probably bust into that room and be like, hey, stop. Done.
They show Chris turning away from the observation window, and her fists are clenched, and she's looking up to the sky.
She doesn't want to do this, but
no,
she's like accepted the fact that like there's nothing else she can do. She's like, I have
whatever I have to do for my child, but damn it. Like,
it sucks.
Very powerful. Very powerful.
So, she's watching all that happen. But the doctors again frustrated. They don't see anything on the scan. Then we cut back to Chris's house where Reagan suffers from appears to be a seizure.
That's what. Ooh,
And
fucking season?
Fuck me with the
fucking cross.
Let Jesus fuck you. Get the fuck out of here,
she
Reagan.
like slaps Chris too. Oh no.
She like grabs him by the balls or some shit, hits him right.
Yeah, she does that big twist.
Oh, you're talking about when she's in the chair.
Oh, yeah.
This is when when they actually depict her actually
do the hypnotism.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because they walk in on her, and that's where she's being thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's laying on the bed, and it's knocking her back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
This is what caused Linda Blair's injury.
To break her back. Yeah.
And they had to bring in the her double to pretty much do a little bit more.
And then that was the scene where the lump in her throat happened. Her eyes roll in the back of her head. And she's like,
yeah.
You're just like, whoa.
No, I'm good with that.
Yeah, there's some hard to watch scenes in this.
There really is, and
then but
so right as a female, I think the hardest to watch scene was the crucifix scene for me.
Oh, I can imagine.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah,
but I'm talking to 3 men here, so I have to know what was your initial and subsequent reaction to every follow-up view of when the therapist is in there and he's trying to hypnotize her and she puts her hand out and twists.
The dick twist?
She doesn't just grab it. She twists it. Do you feel that when
grabs
he falls
that,
to
man.
the floor?
Yeah, when she has like supernatural strength to like just makes you like think how
I think one of them definitely popped.
I mean, when she turned and twist, I said, "Oh!"
His voice went up a few octaves.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He sounded like a man. He came out sounding like Michael Jackson. Well,
and that's how Michael Jackson was born.
We went in there to talk to the demon.
He took part in an exorcism, and damn.
Then we end up with a pop star.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, why would they even try to we're talking to whoever's inside Reagan, and there when she's going. Listen, when she's going, dude, my big ass when she's doing that would be inching towards the door.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna see some dude after she does the dick twist. You're just gonna see this big dude run out the fucking house, knocking everything over as I'm going out.
You ever see the fucking video of the guy at the UFC fight? He's like, "Give me your old dick twist."
Yeah,
give me your dick and twist it. That's what
the guy like, "Oh my god, dude."
Man, it's a UFC fight, man. Come on.
Dude, but just the noises she was making before, because right there was when they portrayed her as being possessed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what
you
she
can
turns
start to
into
see it too in the makeup. It just like
she's all cut up from being through everything she's doing.
She's just sitting there, and you can see the look of just in her eyes. Just she's gone.
Yeah.
It's
not Reagan right now.
It's not Reagan. It's a little bit, but it's more Pazuzu.
Yeah.
No. And then that's when all the hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
That's when the roller coaster ride really begins.
Literal hell comes
literal
raining down in Georgetown.
Uh-huh.
I made a rhyme. You're welcome.
Let me get introduced to the lieutenant, I think, at this point too.
Yeah, so so they tell Chris to start looking for a psychiatrist, and then they end up kind of reluctantly talking about what another option might be, and they bring up possession.
Yep.
It spikes her interest immediately. She's like, "Wait, what's that? What's an exorcism? What's an exorcism? Can you do that? You can do it yourself, right?"
Yeah.
Or is that later?
No, that's a little bit later on.
Okay, I'm mixing up scenes again.
It's okay. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this film. There's a lot of people in this
a lot
film.
of similar context. I feel like between the same characters, it seems, but
You want to throw it to Gabby?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
sure.
You want to take over, Gabby?
So we're at the part where Father Karras is being interviewed by Lieutenant William, and we get the whole Burke thing that happened.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay, I am the worst for you guys to have me take over. I'm a bouncer, so
it's okay.
I'm
I can go. I can go if you want. So
No, I can go. I just won't go in order.
That is completely fine. We're already jumping all over the place anyway.
Yeah,
so
I bounce around.
I'm not worried about
used to it.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay, so Karis is being interviewed about Burke because Karis was actually at the party and everything happened. And then what is going on? So there's a night that Chris isn't home and she asks Burke to babysit. But Sharon is supposed to be there. But Sharon, so it's supposed to be Sharon and Burke. Sharon is supposed to be the one watching, and Burke shows up at the house. And Sharon's like, hey, while you're here, Reagan's been super sick and I have to go get her prescription. Can you hang out? And Burke's like, yeah, whatever. I'm a drunk. Who cares? And it's the 70s. So Sharon's like, yeah, just be drunk and take care of a child. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Sharon leaves and Chris gets home in the meantime. And Chris comes home and the window is open. Reagan has no blankets on and she's sleeping and her breath is showing because it's so cold in there. And she comes back and she's like, wait, what the fuck? Where the fuck is Sharon? And then Sharon walks in with her fabulous bun.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, what's going on? Where's Burke? And Chris is like, what do you mean, where's Burke? Where were you? And she was like, well, Burke stopped by. So I just said, I'm going to go get Reagan's prescription and I'll be right back. Chris is like, oh, this is crazy. I have no idea. She closes the window. She covers Reagan up and she's like, whatever. And then the next thing we know, there's a knock on the door. There's a detective. And he's like, hey, by the way, your friend / maybe lover, was it ever explained? Were they a couple or not?
I know Reagan was kind of saying it earlier, like way earlier. It's like, hey,
him to the party.
You can invite Burke to the party. Do you love him like you love Daddy? And Chris is like, no, I love your father. Like, there's definitely some sort of like romantic.
There's like
trying to get from her daughter.
Chemistry there between them.
So can we talk about what pharmacy is open at that time of night?
Yeah, right.
I mean, seriously. Is that like a city thing? I don't know. I mean, we live in small towns, so I don't.
Yeah.
But so the detective knocks on the door and he's like, hey, what do you know about this guy laying at the bottom of the stairs? And they're like, what guy? And he's like, Burke.
Yeah,
Chris is like, oh, I'm sorry. What? My best friend / maybe lover is. Yeah, and the detective's like, yeah, he probably fell out of your daughter's bedroom window. Like, he's like, hey, there's a window up there. He probably fell out of that and rolled down this entire flight of cement stairs that's like 2 stories long.
Oh, yeah.
And his head was completely turned around. Sleep well.
Yep.
And she's like, wait, what the fuck? And then Reagan starts flipping out again.
This is where this scene right here, when she says Burke's dead, if we're talking about the version you've never seen, has the most iconic, one of the scariest parts ever.
Yep.
This is where the spider walk comes into play. The guy goes, Burke's dead, and all of a sudden you hear the music go, because you see her look over to the steps, and all of a sudden you hear, and then they look over to the steps, and she's coming down the steps backwards like a fucking spider, and it gets to the bottom of the steps, and blood coming out of her mouth going, I would have threw a lamp at that bitch and left.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I am a mother. I love my child, and my entire existence is to protect my child. If my motherfucking child, and I'm talking to you in the future child, if you ever go down the stairs, fucking like a spider, blood coming out of your mouth, growling like that.
Oh, listen, that's
beating you with something.
Listen, that's no longer my kid.
Self-preservation, self-care. I'm out and I'm done.
Well, yeah, at that point, it's either you or them, because they will kill you. If they can do that, you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, and fuck off. I have shit to do. You can't tell me.
I'm throwing a kitchen chair at the motherfucker, and I'm screaming at a very high pitched rate. I mean, I'm gonna be screaming like I got the dick twist, because I'm gonna be screaming that loud and that high pitch, and I'm gonna be running for the fucking door. You're done. I've raised you. You're 12. You learned what you were gonna learn from me. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Done.
If I'm a famous actress, I have money, I'll give you a monthly stipend, but I never want to see
you. I ain't giving you monthly shit. You ain't ever seeing my ass again.
I'll pay your rent.
Nope.
I'll pay for your crucifixes. We're good, but bye, bitch. Done. Nope. Yeah.
I'm throwing a chair and
no Pazuzu.
No, fuck that.
Did you guys notice in that scene though, right before they open the door to find out Burke's dead, the lights flickering, and
Yeah.
Yeah, the phone's like going off the hook and shit.
Thing. There's like a little glimpse
So
of the
subtle, but so effective.
And she doesn't even really question it that much. She just kind of looks at it real quick and was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, she answers the phone and she's like, "Oh no, okay," and then the lights go up and then they go off all the way. And she's like, "Oh, this is kind of normal. All right."
Maybe it's
so easy to forget though that, like, I mean, when we were all growing up, that we had the wall phones, you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes the phone rang and nobody was there, and you just hung it back up and you went about your business. It's not like now that it comes up potential spam or you know, whatever. That sometimes you picked up and nobody was there, and you were like, "Oh, whatever."
It is what it is.
The light flickered, and you were like, "Is there a bulb out? No, okay." And then you just kept going with your life, like. I mean, that's another thing that's so jarring about this movie is that it reminds you of such an innocent time.
Yeah, that is very true.
Because once the 80s hit, I mean, even just the 80s started to really erode at our innocence and our sense of security and everything. And by now, I mean, we have no sense of security, but I mean, growing up in the 80s, it was, you know, I remember my mom saying when I was like 6 in the mid 80s, I remember when I was a kid that I could leave my house in the morning and come back at dusk, and my mom never was worried about me and didn't care and whatever. I grew up in the milk carton kid era.
Oh boy.
So already when I was 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, I mean, everybody was already scared. So when you can see it from that side, that like everything was just so innocent. So like, yeah, you hear rats. Those are obviously not rats.
No.
We know that. She doesn't know that because it's 1970 what? I mean, and then your fucking child does a spider walk down the stairs after the lights blink and the phones are going off the hook, and you're just like, oh, the phones are weird. What's my kid doing? Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
I'll deal with that tomorrow.
So,
it's been a long day.
And then to think, like, and to put yourself in her shoes, like, what is your level of denial? Too, that like there is obviously some crazy shit going on with your kid. But no, my kid's perfect. My kid's fine.
She's an angel.
Bringing off the hooks and these fucking spider walks down the stairs. No, she just needs the med.
Blood and
killing people.
Yeah, she just needs the medication. It's fine. We're fine. I mean,
she got a little anxiety.
Yeah, it's all good. We'll give her a pill. Give her a little pill. She'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, every single thing about this movie, every single line, every single gesture, every single set piece, costume, everything in this movie is so effective. Everything that they do, everything that they say, every way that they stand, every tone that they use is so masterful.
Yep.
Especially the shit you don't notice like the first time you watch it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you won't notice. Like you won't notice the flashes until like someone tells you about it, like the faces. Because first time viewing it with me, I mean, obviously I was young. I didn't notice those face flashes until like I got a little bit older and I heard people talking about, hey, did you know if you pause the movie at this certain time, there's a face there? And you're like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? So you go and watch it and you're just like, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I mean this movie is just,
it's perfect. It really
absolutely is. A horror gamer, it's exactly what you said. It's perfect. This movie is perfect. This is the perfect horror movie.
Yep. And it's also the perfect one for you to watch your first time. Horror gamer.
At 5 years old with your dad who liked to fuck with you when you watched it. Yeah. Kids, any kids out there listening, start off with The Exorcist. Doesn't matter. Just start.
I actually think when Logan, my son, when he was like really young before he could remember anything, I was watching The Exorcist while holding him. And he was like 1 or 2. So I guess he kind of beat you there, horror gamer.
Hey, now he won't be afraid of anything else. That's it. Yeah. But no, like I said, like, but that scene where she spider walks, legendary. legendary.
Did he have a?
I mean, I would challenge somebody to show me something more terrifying.
Honestly,
the history of horror.
Well, that's like the the catch though with horror, isn't it? Is like you watch these movies and they scare you, and you watch a movie like this that has like something really shocking in it, and you're constantly watching other movies, reading things, looking at things to kind of get what you're feeling when you're watching that. That's like what I am. I'm always chasing for
looking for
fear.
more.
Yeah.
And it's really weird for someone to be like, I'm looking for fear. It's really weird to admit that and say it, but all of us who love horror, we understand. But for someone from the outside, it's like, what do you mean you're looking to be scared? Like, don't you hate that feeling? No, I fucking love it. The adrenaline that you get from being scared, and then like your mind racing and thinking about all these other things that continues to scare you is amazing. But it's also horrifying.
And it just leaves you even more.
You know? So that's why I love the genre. There's no other genre out there that does that to your mind. You know, comedy is like, yeah, they make you laugh and shit. Dramas, yeah, they make you cry, but once it's over, it's over. But these things, they stick with you.
And you can blend it with any other genre too. Like you got horror comedies, you got horror dramas, you got fucking horror Christmas movies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's like my stepfather always said it best, because we used to watch a lot of Stephen King's movies, and a lot of them weren't really scary with watching it, but he's like, just wait until the movie is over. You're gonna be thinking about that a lot. And you do, and you're like, fuck, I'm scared.
Yeah.
That's the mark of a truly scary movie. Truly scary movie is, how long after this is over am I still going to be freaked out?
Yeah. And it usually lasts a while. When I was younger, of course, it would last a week, 2 weeks. I would dream about it. I remember the first time watching, this is really weird. This is like, we are so off topic, but it's fine. Edward Scissorhands used to be really scary to me. And
yeah, I can see that.
The one scene that scares the fuck out of me, even till this day, is when she walks up to the mansion the first time, and he comes out from the shadows, and he's just walking there with his hands down. Done. I had nightmares about that for 2 weeks straight, and my mom, like, she would have to watch. If she wanted to watch the movie, she had to go down in the basement. But what would I do? I would be on the stairs watching the movie without her realizing me there, and I'd be like, I'm scaring myself, but I don't even care. So, yeah, I love that shit, man. And this film does that. It really does.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I don't remember where we are in the recap.
Okay. I can take it from here, unless you guys have any other things you want to say before we move on.
Go ahead, buddy. That's all you, man.
All right. So this is when we get to the point where Reagan is now really not Reagan, and she's in her room. Her room is super fucked. Everything, and you just hear her saying, "Let Jesus fuck you, lick me," and she's like grabbing her mom, and whatnot. And then one of the really good lines I like right here is like when her head turns. And then she says, I forget who the hell she says this to, but I have the quote here. It's, you know now what she did, your cunting daughter. And it's just like, what the fuck? And then her mom, I think she's saying it to her mom, because I remember her slapping her, and she has like the big red hand mark on her. And you're like, and then she's like breaking down. And
that's the scene that I think Ellen Burstyn hurt herself, I think was when she was pulled back and the wardrobe was coming toward her. That was when she hurt her back, was when she fell back against that that whatever it was, a table or a nightstand or whatever.
Just go and make sure you watch that series, Cursed Films, on Shudder. If you don't have Shudder, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Go get it. But then we finally get Karis and Chris. They finally meet, and she's talking to Karis, and he's like talking to her casually, and like, yeah, well, your friend, Father Dyer, referred me to you because we're looking for a psychiatrist and whatnot. She's like, you're kind of like my last hope here. And she's like, did he tell you anything that's going on? I was like, no, not really. And then she's like, well, my daughter is really sick right now. And he's like, I didn't even know you had a daughter. And like, what do you mean? Like, all this stuff is going on. Then she's like, I need you to go and visit her because I think she's possessed. And he's like, well, they don't really do exorcisms anymore. Those have been kind of, outdated and like behind closed doors for like centuries. And she's like, well, I need you to do this. You're my last hope. All the doctors didn't do shit. Every time they did something, it was wrong. I had like 83 doctors. They all didn't know shit. They just said that you might need to get an exorcism. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? So Father Karras goes and visits Reagan. And so he goes and kind of talks to her. And then we get the other famous line. Actually, no, that's a little bit long. That's a little bit. Hold on, I'm so confused right now. Because there's so many things that happen right here. She says to him, "How would you go about getting an exorcism?" And that's when all the shit starts going on. And then Karras finally goes to visit her, and he like throws up on him. I love that. And
right in his fucking mouth.
Yeah,
I know.
Ew.
It's all green and shit too.
Yeah, it's so slimy. I love the way the vomit looks in this movie. It's great. So Karras goes to tell Chris that he needs to gather more evidence, and she's like, well, what do you mean? Like, or like talking in a language or saying things she's never known before or anything that's like out of the ordinary that she would not have any knowledge of. And I think one of the things that happens too that really sets him onto the path of doing this is that Reagan, or right now Pazuzu, is talking about his mother. And says that she died, and then he goes to ask Chris, is like, did Reagan know about my mother and passing? She's like, no. And she's like, did you? Like, yeah, but Reagan didn't know anything. He's like, oh, okay. And she's like, well, is there anything wrong? It's like, no. So right then and there, he's like, okay, I need to go and gather the evidence and get this started. So that's what he goes to do. He sets up like this little machine and starts to record, and then we get what an excellent day for an exorcism. And I love that line so much. And just the voice that was used and everything. I don't know who did the voice for possessed Reagan. Do you have that on IMDb?
It was actually some woman who her voice was real deep because she smoked cigarettes. They said, I remember sense. They said she smoked like, they said that she smoked like 3 or 4 packs a day.
Holy
so
fuck.
They basically put her, so they put her in a studio and just had her read the lines.
Damn.
And even the scene where he threw the holy water, we're at that scene that you're talking about.
Yeah, the fake holy water.
The water, the fake holy water. And the dual voices that were coming out of her mouth, that woman was actually making those voices herself.
Holy shit.
She was able to get 2 different tones. Yeah. They were saying she was able to get 2 different tones out of her throat. And that's why it sounded so scary.
It's crazy.
Well, that's great for resources that they had and found that lady. Otherwise, I don't think they're going to be as scary.
And that's, like I said, that's the reason why this is the greatest movie ever. They didn't have special effects. Special effects weren't thought of. Everything that you see in this movie was done practically.
Yep.
From the breath in a room with 6 air conditioners. It was fucking cold. You know what I'm saying? It was cold.
Yeah, the whole ending.
Everything flying around the room. Yeah. You had people off camera throwing shit around the room. You know, that's why
they broke a 12-year-old's back for this.
Yeah. Everything was practical. That's what's so great about it. And even finding that lady, that's a practical effect. That wasn't done with, computers or anything.
Yeah.
Working with what you got.
Exactly. I wish we kind of went back to that.
Honestly,
like working with everything.
The authenticity
instead
of
of just doing everything CGI. I mean, some CGI is good, but we need
within
practical,
reason.
Yeah.
But I digress. You get another kind of interesting scene is when we see Reagan's stomach too. That's written in like a different language, but then you I think you cut back, and then you look at it again, and it just says "Help me," and you're like, "Fuck." Okay, so Reagan's in there. She's
how sad is that?
Like she's trying to get help, and the only way she can do that is by writing on herself somehow in the other world or inside her body. It's like that scene gets to me a lot. it's really sad.
It kind of gets you thinking, like, what's it like? What's going on in the underworld where she is right now? Like, is she carving into a wall that's actually her stomach in the real world, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
What
I
is she
mean,
Gets you
experiencing?
thinking.
if I had to guess, she's probably held up wherever the fuck Pazuzu was and just took that place.
Yeah.
So a tomb or some sort of chamber or wherever it was, depending on like how high level this demon is. I mean, you can kind of tell that he's no pushover. He's gonna fucking do what he does, and he walk like a spider, snap people's necks, turn a head all the way around. Like I don't know how the fuck she survived that.
That's the woo.
It's like that's like probably the most famous scene out of the whole thing is the head turn.
Yep.
And then
With
finally,
that awful smile on her face.
Yep.
Ugh.
So now we are reaching towards kind of the end of the film. There's so much shit that happens in this film. We could continue talking about all of it all day. But Karis finally gets the permission from the church. And they're like, well, we don't really know anybody who does exorcisms anymore. But there is this one guy. We don't know how good his health is. I know he's like overseas. He's like looking for artifacts and shit. But Father Marin, we can go get him. Then we cut to wherever the fuck this guy is. And there's like another dude running up to him. He's like, Father Marin, here's a note for you. They want you. He's like, oh, all right. And then just magically, it's like the next day is what it feels like. He's there. And then we get the famous shot. This is probably the most iconic because it's on all the posters. Is him out of the car with a suitcase and the light. I love that shot. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking the right movie, but you guys seen Malignant, right? So I think there's a shot in it that's a copy of that. I think at one point of the film. It's great. And then we hear upstairs with Reagan or Pazuzu, whatever you want to say, and all you hear is them say Marin. And throughout the whole movie too, it's like when he was listening to everything, it's like, fear Marin. We don't want this guy. This guy we don't want. If Marin comes, we're done. So the Pazuzu knows who he is because they looked at each other when they were over there, and somehow Reagan was able to tap into Pazuzu and obviously be possessed. And then Marin kind of goes over all the rules with Karis because he wants to be in there. Kind of, found this, but not really. He was just kind of brought upon it. So he's like, if you need to be in here, don't talk to it. Whatever you do not talk to the demon. It's just going to tell you lies, but within the lies is going to be truth. So don't say anything. Just focus on what we need to do. It's going to take a long time. Even like, I think one of the priests was saying before that the last exorcism that he did like took months and he almost died. So that's crazy. Thinking that much dedication to get whatever the fuck was happening with that person, like, gone. He almost died doing it. And you can kind of see why, because the rooms are so cold, because demons, they have to get a certain temperature for them to thrive, which you're seeing like all movies now. It's like, if there's cold air, whoa. Okay. So they start to go in there and they're kind of doing the things, and Pazuzu's just like saying like, stupid shit. It's like, take a cock up her ass and like all that stuff, and like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. all the good lines and shit that everybody knows.
So sexual.
Yeah, it is. But it's really funny. And
the meme, your face when you find out your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, it's great. And then
that is a very wrong way to make humor out of this, but that is so funny.
It is. It really is. So I think there was some other stuff that happens, and then Karis is kind of like in shock. He's not really saying the chants or like, saying the other parts of the book that Marin's reading. Is like, Karis, come on, you need to talk. But he slowly starts to get his confidence that he can do this, and that it's scary, but he's here. He has to do it. And then we get another Pazuzu flash. During one of these, you see the face. Then Pazuzu starts to like slime all over the what the fuck is the thing around his neck that they have, and then he has to go and like wash it, and he brings it back. It's already super cold in that room, but he just decides to put the thing back on Marin, like drenched. It's like, this guy is literally just gonna die.
Dedicated.
And then we get the other, really good lines. It's like, I'm going to cast you, unclean spirit. And I think we get another head spin. And then the chant of the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. And it starts to, Pazuzu to kind of calm down. So we think, anyway.
She's levitated, right? Like,
yeah, she's
they're
like up in
saying
the
that
air.
she's
And
raised
as they're
up.
doing that, she's like slowly coming down because she unstrapped and like ripped them off and whatnot. So they have to like kind of like tie it back on. So they get Pazuzu / Reagan to kind of slow down, tie her back up. They're like, okay, let's rest before we have to start again. So this is only part one of how many other parts that they potentially would need to do. Unfortunately, they don't really go through that much, but we'll get there. So Marin starts to go away. He goes to the bathroom, takes his pill. Karis, for some other reason, which I think is just to probably just check on Reagan to make sure that she's okay. Her body's fine, but goes in there, checks the heart, hears to see if the breathing, see what's going on. Because I think at this point, Pazuzu is sleeping or whatever. It's just like
slumbering.
Like I was gonna say in quotes, sleeping.
Taking a break.
Yeah. And then he looks over at the bed too and sees his mother, and they start talking again. And then they start fighting, and the Marin's like, "You need to leave, Karis. Go." So
your mind's too weak.
Yeah, he leaves. He did the one thing that I told you not to do, was not to talk back to them, regardless of what they say. So he leaves, and then Chris and Reagan talk, and Chris and Karis talk, and she asks if Reagan's gonna die, and he says, "No." And then the freaking lieutenant shows up at the worst part, though. The worst part. If it came like as all this was happening, I think it would be a little bit of a different story of what happens. Yeah. But of course, he shows up right at the very end. Karis goes into the room, sees Marin dead. Then Reagan gets, I think she unstraps herself again, and they start, kind of fighting. And Karis is screaming at Pazuzu, "Take me, come into me," like over and over and over. And I love this. Just the transition out of Raven into Karis, and his face changes immediately. And then he sees himself going after Reagan. This is really powerful too. Just going after, he knows what's happening, but he has enough faith and strength inside him to have for 1 second
to overpower
and just throw himself out the window. Then rolls down the stairs.
So effective.
And you see the whole thing too of him rolling down the stairs, like, oh my God. And that's not even the worst part.
Did you notice at the bottom, his head from breaking his neck turned completely around?
Yeah, and that's not even the worst part though. As Father Dyer's there, and also everybody starts crowding. Father Dyer comes, and then we see Father Karis is still alive. He's moving his hands and shit. It's like, dude, like he couldn't, like, out of all the shit that's happened in this movie, he should not be alive. That hits so hard, man.
Yeah, and the part,
you're like, God, give this guy a break.
Here's the part that I find funny about like the exorcism scene. And it always kind of made me chuckle.
Yep.
Was they did all this stuff to try to get this demon out, right? Prayer, and all this stuff. And then what did it take? It took for Father Karis to basically
slap. Get the fucking me.
Yeah. He was throwing ham bones. And then that demon was like, "Well, shit, now I got to possess him to stop him from whooping my ass." You know what I mean? Literally,
he was a boxer.
You could have literally got a Mexican mom up there with a damn sandal to do the same fucking thing.
For real. Yeah, like somebody's dying already, and
he said, "Excuse me, I'll get the fuck." He's like, "Oh shit," And then, but no, like I always found that funny because it was just like they tried so hard, and it took physical. It took rolling your sleeves up and getting dirty.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like putting some work in. Gave him a 3-piece and a combo meal. You know what I mean? and then,
Yo, 1, 2.
But like you said, it was powerful when the demon took him over and he was going after her. And like you said, he had enough faith to stop it and jump out that window.
Yep.
That was powerful. Yes.
I mean,
but I just thought that lead up was kind of fun.
it sucks so much too, because like his mother died.
Yeah.
You know, and he was trying to get out of being in the church and shit too. Like earlier in the film, he's like, I don't have enough faith. He even said, I think I lost my faith.
But it shows his development too, though. You know, like he almost like he found a lost love for it.
Yeah, he found something to fight for.
Yep.
Fight for
Do you think
somebody.
that's why he was the one that was possessed?
Yeah.
Between him and Marin. Because his faith was wavering and Marin's was not.
Yeah.
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 Honestly, it made him more
He left that door open.
susceptible, or whatever the fuck the word is.
Yeah.
Of him getting possessed, you know.
No, I think that's what it was. But he managed to stop it.
Makes sense.
And then that was a masterful ending. Like it was.
And with like, you know, with Chris running in the room after, like hearing Reagan actually speak for the first time, and however long this was, she's like breaking down, like, oh my god,
crying so hard, and she's just saying "mother" over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh, break my heart.
And then outside, poor Karras is like crimpling his hand. I mean, we never really. I mean, we can gather that he died. Okay, we can say that, but we don't really get like the closure to know that he actually did die. So there's like a chance that maybe he survived, but with his head snapped, don't think so.
For all we know, Pazuzu left his body and went out to possess someone else.
Yeah, but that guy was giving him his last rites.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "Do you have anything that you want to confess or not?" And he's just shaking his hand.
Well, that's what I was expecting when he came up and offered to give it the last rites. I thought that Pazuzu was going to move from Karras.
Yeah.
It was more of a shock that he didn't than if he had.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Then the family decides to move. And Father Dyer comes to visit.
A long time ago.
Yeah. It's such a sad movie, but it's such a great movie.
There's a lot of like emotion and, like you said, drama. It's got everything you need.
And this is a fucking movie that did not need sequels. It did not need sequels.
No.
It didn't.
Part 2 was horrible. Part 3 was bearable because the guy came back and directed the first one, directed the third one, but it was still meh.
I'm gonna be honest, I love Brad Dourif, okay? So yes, he's like the best part of that film.
Yeah.
And also the jump scare. You know?
Yeah, the legendary jump scare that still gets everybody to this day.
Yep. The statue?
No, the
head trimmers.
Yeah, the head trimmers.
And the blanket in the office. The still camera for like 5 minutes. You're like, what the fuck is happening? But like the nurses going back and forth from the room and whatnot. You're like, oh, okay, it's fine. And all of a sudden, ding, and then you see the little person that's running across. Like, damn.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Swear to God, I don't remember that. The only part of that movie that I remember is the hallway, and then all of a sudden, the headless fucking statue just goes right across, and you're like, ah!
I don't remember a headless statue. I remember the blanket.
This was the hospital scene?
Yeah. Maybe there's another one? I don't know, but I think... Didn't Joe Bob cover it? I think it actually might still be on Shudder. I think Joe Bob did a whole episode on it for his last drive-in. So.
Poltergeist 3? Or Exorcist 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's on Shudder, I think, still. It's weird because The Exorcist used to be on Shudder. And they took it off, and now it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is the whole movie. It's super sad. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Even though we've been off topic so much in this episode, but it's fucking amazing. I love when that happens. So please go watch this movie. I'm gonna go see if I can hunt down a copy of, if there ever was one, of a film of the play. That would be
cool.
Absolutely great. Aaron actually has the Rotten Tomato scores here.
I want to take a guess at what you think the scores are.
So we'll do the actual like tomato meter first. Yeah, so if you guys want to take a stab at it.
Tomato meter is critics.
94%.
84%.
Ooh, close. 83%.
Gabby wins that one. Thanks for a bit closer.
But there's also there were 84 reviews though. And then we got the audience score, 250,000 plus ratings.
96%.
96,
92%.
87.
It's
A little disappointing considering.
well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Who
it's still
doesn't like
really
this
good.
movie?
But I mean, it's good, but like it should
It
have done
is
better.
certified fresh. So
Yeah.
that's what matters. It's certified fresh.
Yeah.
But
Holy shit, this movie, man. I could talk about it all day. There's so much
Yeah.
shit that happens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a perfect movie. I'm sorry. To this day, I will go to my grave saying that The Exorcist is the greatest horror movie ever made and possibly one of the greatest movies ever made. Not just
Yeah.
horror,
The rating's
but
great. The
greatest
acting's good.
movies.
yeah, now honestly,
Yes.
like after
Whether or not
revisiting
you
it,
like this movie, you can make the argument that this is one of the greatest movies of all time because this is a horror movie.
Yep.
Nominated for Oscars.
Yep.
50 years later, still being talked about. When it came out, people were fucking fainting and vomiting.
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I know that we're all jaded because it's so long after, but like,
Yep.
that was so. Show me a movie that would come out today that people are fucking fainting and vomiting over
oh
it.
yeah,
Honestly, it doesn't matter when it came out. I mean, it was a more simple time, a more innocent time, but I mean, this is one of no other movie before this. I doubt that people were going to see fucking Casablanca and fucking killing themselves in aisles because they didn't end up together at the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So show me another movie before this movie came out that people were actually having that visceral, physical reaction.
mm-hmm. And you know what too?
Then the
Like
Exorcist-
nowadays, I
And
feel.
no matter
sorry.
what people think of it, this puts it in the top 10 greatest movies of all time. That this
I do
gave
agree.
people a physical reaction.
I feel like it was released at the perfect time too, because like I feel like nowadays people would find something to like, you know, to just fucking just wrong with the movie, or you
Yeah.
can't do that, you can't do this, or
Yeah,
you know that was
exactly.
too
We're
much.
also
And, yeah,
spoiled.
somebody's always gonna have a problem.
That's
with
definitely
what,
like what's really wrong with like quote unquote society now. It's like,
Like-
everything needs to have a fucking flaw. Nothing can just be left alone, you know. I hate
Yeah.
that so
which
much.
goes, you know, people are entitled to their opinion, but
Mhm.
it's
Awful.
you just everybody's so negative nowadays.
Oh yeah, negative Nancy's all around.
Oh,
Which
nowadays,
again, it comes
doesn't matter
down to
what kind of movie
society
you put out.
and like what's going on in the world. But and like it was
Yeah.
like you said, it was a more peaceful time back then too, which kind of like I think was what, you know, threw people off. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, it's like sorry. I'm
You know what the worst part about it
I try to talk faster than I think, and
It's all good, dude.
but
this movie's
yeah,
got everything in it. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Watch it on
And it's
Netflix or rent it
And the
or
saddest
anything.
part about it, going back to what you said, the saddest part about it though is I don't think that in today's society, if this movie would be released right now, I don't think it'd do good.
no,
No, it wouldn't. It would be
Because
too slow.
it would be too slow, and it would be one of those movies where you would get that toxic fandom just diving on into it
Yep.
and just nitpicking every little thing.
it honestly comes down
That's
to
why-
the internet.
Yes, that's why I'm so glad that it came out when it did, because it had that time, you know.
Yeah.
It had time to build that merit to be what it is today.
And grow,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, it had time to, you know, basically go through the trenches and, you know, be what it is. But if it would have came out this time, I just don't think it would do good. That's why I'm hella nervous about the remake that they're doing of it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just you don't need a remake of The Exorcist.
No.
Leave
And please don't spawn
shit
sequels.
alone.
We don't
Yeah,
need
well, no,
sequels.
they signed a 3-movie deal for The Exorcist. It's going to be a trilogy.
Oh no.
I didn't know that. Now,
Yeah. It's a trilogy.
we should boycott it.
And the
boycott
thing
it.
is, they're bringing back
No,
Chris.
we're all such nerds. We'll still watch it.
I mean, I'll
Yeah,
still
that's
watch
fair.
it, but
Remember we were shit talking Scream, and then we went to go see the movie that came out.
Yeah.
well, I think it's going to be a requel. It's going to be like a.
God, I hate that
that's
I
word.
honestly, I hate it too. Trust
I
me.
hate that
have
word,
been in
man.
Scream. I'm just like,
Oh, it was cute.
but I mean, they created some, but I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be like a remake sequel where they're going to
Bring back
keep the
legend.
legacy characters
characters.
and
Well, I mean, a lot of the cast you can't even do that because they're all fucking dead.
Yeah.
No?
Or have broken
I mean,
backs.
Chris and Reagan are like really the only ones that are kind of still alive.
Yeah, I don't know if actually, do we know if there's a confirmation that Linda Blair is going to be part of it?
There was no confirmation, but knowing Linda Blair, she was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I'm not doing it."
She'll probably jump on it, but we'll see.
I love
Good
how
for
that's one
her.
of her pictures is just
Watch it be like a priest or some shit that has to do the exorcism.
Here's the thing: what would be
comes back as
cool
grown up
if
Reagan.
they're gonna do it? Have like her granddaughter or something be possessed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, Zuzu come back and attack.
that's exactly what they're doing, dude.
See, it's one thing to use some like an original as inspiration, but when you're trying to like recreate it and just completely like replace it, then that's when there's an issue.
Well,
I just
duplicated but never replicated.
all I want is that it needs to be dark. I don't want any kind of comedy in this at all because there's
it's not
none in this one. Maybe a little teeny tiny bit during the party with him calling the butler a fucking Nazi. That's about it. But
more levity, not so much.
That's all we need.
Levity would be okay.
We don't need jokes and shit and whatnot. We need darkness, lots of it.
Satire and sarcasm.
Lots of swearing and crucifixes up the
vajayjay.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, as a girl, I would be okay with never seeing a crucifix in a shrine ever again for the rest of my life. But that's just me.
I want whoever is possessed to actually rip off the balls of whoever the fuck they're grabbing. I want that to happen. So let's go full extreme.
You go all in.
I mean, the movie was extreme for its time, so why can't it be extreme for our
take it to a whole new level for today's standards.
Exactly.
Hey, might be onto something. Extreme, you guys. I hope this isn't too much off topic, but I just really want to thank you guys personally for your episode on I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, well, that's not off topic at all.
So amazing. I mean, my heart to you. I mean, it was.
So
it was a hard movie to watch.
The thing is, like, I was talking to Aaron like way before this year even happened, and I said, "Dude, this year we need to do not what we did the first year because we literally just did anything that we saw. But this year, I'm like, we need to do things that are well known, that people know,
stuff that pushes the limits,
and we need to do harder movies." And I'm like, I'm gonna ease you into the harder movies because Aaron hasn't seen a lot of horror movies. This is like the whole
he's kind of like developing
aspect of our show, is that he doesn't really know a lot of the movies, so I'm introducing him and I'm looking through it through a new eyes with him. So watch I Spit in Your Grave. I've seen all of them. I've seen all the remakes and everything. I didn't watch the newest one. I found out there was another one that came on last year that I guess some of the original cast was actually part of. So yeah, we did that one, and I'm like, so what we're gonna do with this episode is still gonna be a review, but it needs to be awareness. It needs to be, it's gonna be a hard episode. It's gonna be very hard to talk about because obviously we're men, all right. And I've had actually a lot of messages from people, especially Candy from The House That Screams. She even reached out. I was like,
by the way, I'm sorry. Hi, Candy. I'm obsessed with you and I love you.
Yeah, she's awesome. So please reach out to her.
So cool. Candy, you are the coolest person on the planet and I love you. Okay, keep going. This is Gabby. Hi.
So,
I love you.
she reached out and she was like, you guys are really brave for what you did for being men. I'm really happy that you did what you did. I'm like, I'm happy we did too. I was so nervous about the whole thing. I'm like, I don't want to misspeak on anything.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure we had hotlines people could call. We wanted to make sure that they had someone to talk about, anything like that. Yes, the movie is super hard to watch. The remakes are, I would say, maybe a little bit harder to watch, just because it was more modern, so it was a little bit more detailed and everything. But for the time that it was, this was 78, same year that Halloween came out. Yeah, it's just very, very hard. And with me seeing it at the age that I saw it also did not help at all. Right? Yeah, I was like 13, 14 while the first time I watched I Spit in Your Grave. Just randomly saw it on Stars or whatever, and then I watched it, and scarred me till this day. And the funny thing is I actually really like the movie, but it's nothing I would go back and watch all the time, you know.
Yeah.
And so for review purposes, like I did with Aaron, you know, and yeah, it's crazy. And I thank you for saying that.
Perspective, the fact that you guys would even be willing to be two men
Mm-hmm.
hosting a show, talking about movies, that you're talking about one of, if not the most brutal, long,
Mm-hmm.
drawn out rape scene.
25
I mean,
minutes.
this is a rape revenge movie, but the rape scene itself is so long, and to cover
Disgusting.
that and to not have a female there with you, and for you guys to still come out of it like, I'm a girl and I came out of it like, I love them. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
You guys did it. You did it so delicately. You did it so sensitively, sympathetically. It was, I mean, the empathy that you showed through that was absolutely astonishing. And you guys really should be proud of yourselves over that. I mean, that was, yeah, I mean, it was, I was so impressed when I listened that I was like, I think a lot of men would have made more jokes.
Yeah, but it's, you know, it's a big issue in this world, though.
And
it's
you
not.
guys did not, and it's a huge issue. It's a huge issue for females, but I don't know that I knew until I listened to you guys that, like, oh my God, there are men that actually this is the thing for them too. So, I mean, honestly, as a girl, thank you guys. I mean, you guys.
Thank you for the.
And I hope that there are some brosifs out there that listen to your show that are like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't grab a titty. Or, you know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
I shouldn't roofie that girl at the bar.
That's definitely the hope that
maybe if she says no, maybe I shouldn't keep asking.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think that you guys, I mean, you handled it so well in that it was really good for me as a woman. And I think that I can't speak for men, obviously, but I think that if there was any right way to speak to men about that subject, you guys did it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
I put like a lot of thought into like what I wanted to do for that episode, and I bounced it with Aaron. He's like, "That's fine, man." And like we posted numbers everywhere, let everybody know that you can reach out whenever the fuck you need to. I don't even care what time of day it is. Like,
at the end of the day, just having respect for the fucking other human beings, you know, and just being a decent person. You know,
it was very hard to get through. Even watching the movie again was really hard. I had to take like 3 or 4 breaks.
Yeah.
Even though I like the movie, still very hard to watch. But, yeah,
I will never ever watch that movie again.
And I mean, probably not me either.
If you haven't seen the remake, I'd say that'd probably be the only other reasons to watch it again. It's kind of like a shot for shot, but the kills are way more brutal. Thank you for that, Gabby. I really do appreciate that, and knowing that what we're doing actually means something. Because that's one thing Aaron and I were talking. I was like, is this even gonna like do anything? Yeah, are people gonna listen to this? Are they gonna be too afraid to listen to it?
People inspired by it. They, you know, we helping people like
So
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. And that's pretty much the end of the show. So if you guys have any last minutes before we cut it off, if there's anything you want to say or anything, or we talk about anything that's going on with the podcast and stuff on your end, go right ahead.
The upcoming, it's anything.
Are you?
Well, I mean, I'm just like I just want to say thank you guys again for having us on. It was
anytime, dude.
Blast.
Always welcome. You guys are always welcome.
You guys
I love coming on here. I do. I love coming on here talking, having a good time. We would definitely love to have you guys on our podcast.
Anytime, man. Just shoot us a DM.
Yes. Please come on. Let's talk. Maybe we can do an episode like we were joking about earlier, where we can just go
Tell
around
stories,
if we have
shoot
ghost
the shit.
stories.
Yeah, man.
Shoot the shit. You know.
I'm down.
Definitely. I know we have a couple. We have a couple things in the works, right, Gabs? We have a possible
You have so much happening.
Studio 666.
Oh, nice.
We have all kinds of stuff in the works, really. Like
yeah.
My life
it's
is
just so
over.
much. Like we're
I'm not a mother
constantly,
anymore. It just revolves around everything we're doing right now.
yeah, like it literally, we have ideas for episodes that we are constantly bouncing off each other. I would love to do an episode on how, about toxic fandom,
Yeah.
Let's
because
do it, man.
it's really,
Absolutely.
it's a really, for me, the toxic fandom is really touchy to me, because as horror, as horror supporters, we're already outcasts.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We're looked at differently than other people. But to have people in that inner circle judgy and,
Yeah.
quick to turn their back on other horror supporters because of how they feel about a movie, or just in general,
Any
just
little
hate them.
trivial thing, like
Yeah, little trivial things, or every horror movie that comes out they fucking hate.
Yeah, it's like, let's knock it off.
Yeah,
we're all
yeah.
supposed to
So
support each other, and
yeah,
Oh,
support
you
each
just threw a
other.
nerve
That's
with
the
me
thing.
though, because every movie that's come out lately, I've hated.
Toxic.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Toxic.
No.
I mean,
There's been a few things
I
that.
just hate everything. I'm not toxic. I swear, I love horror. But I
No,
just
but
hate
that's
everything.
one thing I need to talk about. We're gonna have that discussion. We just have so much going on with the podcast.
That's good, man. Staying busy.
Yeah, we're staying busy, and hopefully now we can start going more. I know for a while there I battled COVID, and it
Well, I'm
hit my
glad you're
family
okay,
tough.
also, man. I'm
Yeah.
really thankful that you're good.
that shit sucks. I've had it
How's
twice.
your
Yes.
mother-in-law?
She's doing better. She
Good.
is doing better.
Good.
So, but now we have issues with Marcy that aren't. I'll talk about it off.
We'll talk. We'll
Yeah.
talk.
But no, like I said, we're hoping to get back on a regular schedule. Is that right, Gabs? What else? What else we got?
Well, I just had an idea while we were talking.
Yeah.
You guys, the podcast is called Horror Haven LLC, and it's
Mhm.
because of Hell House LLC. And I would really, 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 really love to talk to you guys about the Hell House LLC trilogy.
I do like those movies, so yeah, just let me know when.
Cool.
Definitely
I think
come
that'd
on.
be a lot of fun. Aaron, do you like them?
I think you've
I probably
you've
seen
seen
a
the
long
first
time
one.
ago.
I know for a
but-
fact that you've definitely seen the first one, but it's been a long time. So
Yeah.
a revisit for both of us.
I'd have to
would be great.
revisit it.
I think they're all on Shudder too.
Okay.
I think another thing that would be really fun for all of us to do would be a movie night. I think
Yeah.
that
That's
something
one
that
thing
Like
I've
you're
been
saying, like a
trying to
watch
do.
party type deal.
I've been trying to
something
set that
yeah,
up for a
that we could do
while.
all together.
Just
Yeah.
do watch parties. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that we could do a watch party. I think that we would all have a blast, and I think the people that were with us would have a really good time too.
Definitely.
I
But-
want to give one shout out to that another person I want you guys to reach out to. Okay, and you will love this guy. Really quick. His name is Dean of the Dead Hot Sauce. He's on Instagram mainly. He is the baddest motherfucker I know. This guy, I'm also a co-host on
Dude's
his
crazy.
on his podcast that I do with him. He does hot sauces that are all horror influenced. He has a new bear coming out that's horror influenced. He's coming to the US for the first time. He's coming to meet us for the very first time in April. That's like really, really exciting. But reach
Nice.
out to him. This guy loves horror. He breathes it. Reach out to him on Instagram.
Dean of the Dead hot sauce.
Yes, tell him I sent you.
He's super down to. Oh shit! I just kicked the camera.
You
good? Super most down to earth dude I've ever fucking met.
Yeah, I talk to him every single day, so I can even let him know that you guys are looking for people to come on the show. Yeah, he's such an awesome dude.
He was our first guest too, wasn't he?
He was our very first guest, and he came on for a Nightmare on Elm Street episode, and the guy is just awesome.
Sounds like that's awesome, man.
And he
Thank you
makes
for
hot
that.
sauce? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My husband and I make our own hot sauce. I
Oh,
want to
shit.
talk to him about hot sauce. I don't
Yeah,
give a shit
he's
about movies.
one of the things he's trying to do is he's reason why he's coming over here is because he's trying to get a distributor to start selling it over in the US because he can't ship it for cheap to us from the UK. So that's one of the reasons why he's coming over. Yeah, so definitely this guy knows everything. So reach out to
The
him.
Exorcist. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Exorcist.
He's great. And he's collabed with a few bands. He's collabed with the Eagles of Death Metal. He just did a hot sauce with them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how that
Hi,
dude
Dean.
does.
You
He
want to be my
does so
new best
much.
friend because I love you.
He's great. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, his Instagram is, I mean, I could stay on this for hours.
Yeah.
Yep. He has a video coming out right now for his new beer where he got turned into a fucking zombie, and it's great.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But thank you guys.
Reach out.
Thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you
here.
guys
Yeah.
so much. This was a blast. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
Of
for having
course,
us on.
anytime you guys want to talk or anything, even if it's not even just on the podcast, if you guys just want to just talk over Zoom or anytime, just
Sure.
Or text either of us,
Yeah.
like on fucking Instagram, Twitter. Or,
I know I've been talking
absolutely.
so much today too because my fucking voice is shot.
I'm
Yeah,
trying not to
yeah.
talk. Mine already is.
Yeah,
I
so
feel you. I definitely feel you guys there, man. Woo, it was a fun one.
yeah, this was
Oh,
a
yeah.
long episode too. It's 2.5 hours. Fucking
Fuck yeah.
A, man. This is
Love it.
great. So this will
This is
what we
you
do
get
is
into with us because we talk too much.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Hey, that is completely fine because our episodes
That's
have
what's
been
awesome.
getting longer,
Okay.
and that's what I want, honestly. Because
Yeah.
when it's just
Really.
Aaron and I, our episodes are like an
Sometimes we
hour,
run out
hour
of
and a
stuff to
half.
talk about, and
So
it's
when
good
we-
having more,
Yeah.
you know, like opinions and.
It's more content for everybody to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's good.
Yeah.
Have Gabby
That's
more
your goal.
around and we'll run your runtime up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this will be uploaded on Patreon tomorrow, and then on Monday it'll be released to everybody else. So
Yeah.
Hi, Barons, patrons. Hi, guys.
Hi guys.
there's a couple of them in there. We're getting there. I need to add more stuff too.
Spencer Charnas is one though.
Yeah, so that's really cool too. I don't know if you guys know the band Ice Nine Kills or anything, but the lead singer actually supports us on Patreon, which is fucking
Oh,
awesome.
that's badass.
out.
I love them.
That's
I'm trying to
awesome.
get him on the
Resident
show,
Evil
but he's
inspired
so
song?
busy.
Oh,
So busy.
Oh, I'm sure, but that's unbelievable. Oh my God, you guys, you're doing so many fabulous things.
You are.
I mean, hats off. You guys are
Thank you.
amazing. Seriously.
I feel like I don't even like
Thank you.
do that much. This
Yes,
is the,
Aaron.
the weirdest thing too is like I try to make it seem like I'm on socials a lot, but I like a lot more than I post.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
feel like I need to be better at that. So that's like
Yeah.
a part of me that's like saying I'm not doing enough. But then I
Yeah.
get people like you saying we're doing everything right. You're doing enough.
Yeah.
Do more.
we are.
So it's like I guess we are doing good.
Yeah.
Anything over the age
I think
of
it just started
17.
off as like, you know, just
If you
for
do-
fun.
Yeah, I mean it
Here
still
we
is.
are. I mean
for
it
fun,
is,
yeah.
but yeah. But like, I didn't think it would get this big, you know.
Yeah, me either. That's something off the top of my head.
crazy,
It's like, let's
dude.
just do a fucking podcast, man. But yeah, that was the Baron's Hideout podcast. I was your host, Dustin,
And now is your co-host Aaron.
and our guests,
Yes.
Horror Haven LLC. You guys can announce yourselves, and we'll end this.
Well, guys, this has been your boy Horror Gamer.
Yeah.
And Gabby with my new best friends, Aaron and
With our
Dustin.
new best
Yeah.
Love you
friends.
guys.
Yeah, man.
And-
Anytime.
Yeah,
That goes out for anybody listening too. If you guys ever want to come on the show, I don't care who you are, just DM me.
You're in the horror community, you're welcome.
Exactly.
Unless you're one of those fucking assholes.
I was just gonna say, unless you're a shithead, then stay out.
Nope.
Well, maybe I do want to talk to you. I'll debate you a little bit and fucking make
There
your
you
mind
go.
be
We'll have a
changed.
word with you.
That'd be a good one. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.